Too many tanks on the ground. Too many tanks. Too many tanks on the ground.
Y'all ain't war machine.
Too many tanks. Too many.
I can tell that you wanna see me losing control at the same time losing my soul. Trying to move on the low, but you still can't escape from the view on the scope. If you move, you will go. When the tank's on the ground, better move out the road. Gotta flow like a hookah lounge, who won't smoke? If you choose to provoke, I might loosen the rope enough not to leave a bruise on your throat. The movement's strong, strong enough to make a bunch of grown men spray hatred like cologne. We got too much out here going on in the path you traveling, Rocky Sylvester Stallone. But you and I leave it alone. Michael B. Jordan trying to get a creed of your own. Just leave me alone. How you gonna talk like a boss? You don't even own the keys to your home. You don't wanna see me in the zone. Blood of a king in my veins, I belong on the throne with a queen of my own. Infatuated by the muscle tone of my body, love squeezing my arm. If we in the war with the other side, why you not taking shots at the other guy? Let me summarize, you advertise black on black crime and antagonize. When I analyze it with my higher mind, I miss my Virgo nature with the fire sign. I can see it clearly through my third eye, point of view higher than the birds fly. No code of honor like the summer ride, they just target practice for me bullseye. You a clout chaser working full time and your paradigm is a narrow mind. All the angels in heaven listen when I'm sharing mine. I'm giving back to the culture. I'm in the back of the Rover. Why you at home with your back on the sofa? I'm having a moment. Your childish behavior, I'm sorry, I cannot condone it. The double-edged sword that I'm swinging, sharp enough to cut your bones through your garment. Yeah, Rock Nation signed a deal with the NFL recently, that's a bonus. And I just wanna know what percentage you getting paid off for your performance. Hold up, Jay-Z, he don't even know you. Nope. Trademark name who belong to. 6-figure check, no console. Come to a point where you can't undo what you misconstrue. Every day you attack Jesus, animated like Black Jesus. For that reason, he's still undefeated like Gorilla Hebrew from last season. The war machine running circles around our competition like track season. It's hard for you to be a stand-up guy, cause in the spirit world, your back leaning. I'm sick with it, got me throwing up. PowerPoint ready, they ain't showing up. No information, just inflammation. Amazon book sales going up. But I wouldn't buy it, even if I was on a diet and had little money on the side. I wouldn't try it, even if my life was on the line and they pointing at my body with the 9. Why should I tell them a whole bunch of lies just for them to join my side? El Shaddai, all praise to the Most High. If the Spirit walking with me, I'm fine. You cannot make a decision. I can see that you afraid of the system. I can tell you have no faith in your vision. You rather sit back and hate on religion. I bet you won't walk in the government building and tell them that you want an interview. Tell them that your name is Nimrod and you demand justice and call them a criminal. Burn up their literature right there in front of them. I guarantee you gon' make the news. At least you be finally famous. Look at the camera like, mama, I made it. Have you ever stood in front of the very personification of hatred? I have on many occasions. The devil got multiple faces. Look at the swing of the pendulum. Look at the shape of the pentagon. I walk in the power of Pentecost. I show up and mess with your pentagram. Tanks on the ground, man.
Too many tanks on the ground. Too many.
Yeah, here we go. Good to be back in the building as a tank. Ooh, shout out to Minister Hal for that fire track. This is Tank Talk. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be something that I started to give y'all, that the brothers started to give y'all whenever we get a chance. Whenever we got things that we need to go over. You know what I'm saying? But first and foremost, let's pay a couple bills. Shout out to the Argument League, to the brother Suave Boss for giving us the access to this channel. Shout out to the tanks, my brothers. Everybody that's part of your war machine. From the Minister Hal to the brother True Justice, to everybody in between. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. We're going to have a great little conversation here. Shout out to the SVDL League, you know what I'm saying? Solar Vision Debate League. Don't forget tonight, we are going to have that dope award show. It's going to get popping. Everybody going to come in. We're going to recognize everybody for their situation, for everything that they did, their contributions for season 3. Shout out to AOI. Shout out to all the other groups. If I'm forgetting you, please charge it to my head, not my heart, because I am ready to run this thing over. As you can see, we see the title right there, Tank Talk. Tank's going to steamroll this H.O.K. rape doctrine. But really what we're going to show is that we've been dealing with this thing since 2019. Now, I want to make it clear, you know what I'm saying? We're going to bring in a few of the brothers. We're going to bring in the tanks. If we want to do an open panel, we'll probably open that up on another stream, but this is really going to be strictly to address this. And then if everybody else want to argue about it, we can go ahead and shut down and bring it back up. But specifically, we're going to go in and go ahead and smash this joint real quick. Now, I want to bring in a couple of partners, and I will be making sure I get the stream. I see you, Shar. I really do want you to jump on in a minute because you was kind of a part of this conversation too. So we're going to bring you on in a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead. Let me first up bring my brother Orthodox. More peace to you, King.
Peace. Peace and blessings to the panel. Peace and blessings to the chat. What's good, fam?
It's good, bro. You know what I'm saying? We finna get ready to get it pop. Hold on, we got another partner in the room. There you go. Bring in the Elder Yard. What's going on with you?
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Giving all praise to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to the Son, Yeshua, Yahweh Shah, some of those ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Hey, man, let's get it in, man. I'm excited about Tank Talk, man. The idea that Brother A9 came over with and Orthodox more facilitated. So, hey, man, let's get it in, man. You know how we do. We deal with false doctrines, bro. We tearing them down. We're going to straighten some things out, man. So all praise to the Most High, man. Let's get it.
Praise to the Most High. Praise to the Most High. And we are going to have a special guest whenever we get him in the building. We got a special guest that's going to jump on as well. Now I want to point a couple things out, all right? So let's get to this a little bit. So the problem of this, the thing that we got to deal with is the fact that there's a certain, what we consider now, we got to call it a rape apologist, that's running around here saying, number one, that not only that the Bible mitigates or makes mitigation for rape, but has actually gone out and said that the Bible condones rape. Now, why is this important? Because it's plays specifically to the mindset of certain people who have been involved with a lot of the scandals that we see going on in the conscious community. So in order for us to get this right, we got to jump out first and show you how, yeah, we've been on the ground, tanks on the ground, steamrolling over this nonsense now for years, right? This ain't just something that we just started to deal with, but two, to actually give you a real clear-cut understanding as to why we say the Bible does not condone or make mitigation for rape. And hopefully you'll come out of this a lot smarter than you were before you came in. So when we say, what are we talking about? The first thing, let me give you a quick breakdown of what we're going to do. I played the debate, and if you want to see the debate, I encourage you, I implore you, please run over to once we finish, not right now, but once we finish, later on when you got spare time. There's another channel called SVDL YouTube Streets channel. And so we're going to start airing a lot of the classic debates over there, right? So you can go over there and check that joint out. It was me in 2019 against the brother in Cozy. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish that season out. You know what I'm saying? I had some things to do with the family, but I smoked him. You know what I'm saying? You can go back and watch it. I smoked him, just like I smoked Rabbi Lewis that season too, but I only got 2 debates in that season. But you can go back and watch the debate and you'll see, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to play probably the first 10 minutes. I'm probably going to play my opening. Matter of fact, more. I don't got that queued up. Do you mind going ahead and snatch that, setting that up for me while I'm finished setting the tone? Can you get just set it up to where I go in on my premise round, please, if you can?
Yes, sir. I'm on it right now.
Appreciate you, King. Appreciate you so much. Sorry for not having that one ready, which, I should have had that ready. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and knock that out, and I'm going to play that first so you can understand what we're going to. And then we're going to go over what actually happened during the after or the post debate, or what was called at that time the aftermath, right? Now, this is going to be SVDL content. So now what we're going to start doing, since everybody want to start talking about flagging and challenging and doing all this stuff to the channel, we'll just use the content that we got already, because make no mistake, y'all done made asses of y'allself enough already. So, but what we're going to do is we're going to go into it, and we're going to speak into the psychosis of this, right? We're going to speak into the psychosis of why would you continue to even deal with a book that would mitigate or condone something like rape? Why would you want your sons and daughters to read something that has a mitigation or appropriation for something as heinous as rape? That makes no sense. And so since it makes no sense, we want to make sure that we go ahead and knock this thing down and chop it all the way down today. And make no mistake, we're going to go ahead and knock this out, right? I only want to have this conversation no more. And then the final reason I really want to do, we had a conversation a couple nights ago where the brothers, we got into it. And it became clear, but there was also like, well, you need to destroy it. You need to go ahead with bet. Now we're going to do that. And we're going to do it without any interruption, without people playing the games, without people trying to do things to get you off your square, without including different rabbit holes for us to fall down. Now we're going to get right into it. Now, remember, though, the argument is that the Bible says that it's okay to rape, either through the law or through a condoning or anything like that. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to knock this out. I don't see anybody else in the back room. I know we're waiting on that brother. So whenever I see him, if y'all see him, let me know. And so I'm going to allow more to go ahead and share this screen real quick. And we're going to go back into this. All right, more whenever you're ready, brother.
You're up now, brother. Whenever you're ready.
Let's go. All right, this is my premise round. I got to move fast. I got to move furious. All right, family? So I need y'all to keep up and take some notes. For this debate, my opponent and I agree that rape will be defined as any sexual action that is performed against the victim's will. Now, I need you to keep up because I'm going to show you various case studies and various laws that show you that this is not the case. You will not find this in this Bible. Oxford defines condone as accept and allow behavior that is considered morally wrong or offensive to continue. Not saying it can't happen, it has to continue. All right, once again, rape is defined as any sexual action that is performed against the victim's will. We have 5 major categories of the law that we'll deal with: marriage, fornication, adultery, rape, and strangers and servants. All right? Now, welcome to my room, bro. This is going to be your 15 shots to your premise. I got a 50 caliber Barrett sniper rifle that's ready to go. That's what I use, Cube. I saw your pump presentation. This is what I would use if I'm going to go to work. Let's get it. Case studies for rape. My first shot. If the Bible condones rape, why does Absalom kill Ammon for the rape of Tamar? Let's go. Vengeance for the rape of Tamar. 2 Samuel chapter 13. And she answered him, nay, my brother, do not force me. That word is a not. I'll show you why that becomes important. For no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this folly. Verse 14. Howbeit he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. Right? Anah does not show rape. Kazak shows the force. Let's get it popping. So guess what happens? Because this was not condoned. Absalom, her brother, said unto her, hath Ammon thy brother been in thee or been with thee? Behold now thy peace, my sister. He is thy brother. Regard not this thing. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house. Oh no, Absalom didn't want her to say nothing. Here's why he didn't want her to say nothing. Because 2 years later, this is what he did. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, mark ye now when Ammon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say unto you, smite Ammon, then kill him. Fear not, I have commanded you to do so. Be courageous and be valiant. And the servants of Absalom did unto Ammon and Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and every man got up upon his mule and fled. And the soul of King David longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Ammon, seeing Ammon was dead. That's not condoning. That is killing a nasty little rapist. Let's move forward. Shot number 2. If the Bible confirms rape, explain why David and Bathsheba are clearly in an adulterous relationship. Let's get it. David commits adultery with Bathsheba. And it came to pass in the eventide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon Yo, we still there? Check, check, check. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Well, we lost the audio.
Lost the audio? We lost Moore's audio?
Yeah, I lost Moore's audio.
Very beautiful to look upon. And David,
There it is.
I think you have technical difficulties. Let me go ahead and see if I can load this up real quick. Bear with us for a second, people. We're trying to get this audio joint under control real quick. But as you can see, what we're addressing are the scriptures that are showing you clearly that the Bible is not making a mitigation for rape. And I know that some people like, why does this matter? Why is this important? Because this is what a certain person is using to go around, and that certain person is Nepal, is using to go around to actually say that the Bible condones rape. And so it's important for us to knock this up and chop this off at the top of the top of the head, chop the head off the snake in order to be able to go ahead and knock this thing out. You got the audio back up more? Or do I need to bring it up on the other drum? All right, bet, no doubt, man. We'll go ahead. You know what? Give me like a minute and a half. I'm gonna give y'all some music real quick. We're gonna go ahead and knock this out.
Too many tanks on the ground. Too many tanks. Too many tanks on the ground.
Yahweh war machine.
Too many tanks. Too many tanks. Too many.
I can tell that you wanna see me lose the control, at the same time losing my soul. Trying to move on the low, but you still can't escape. Full of view on the scope, if you move, you will go. When the tank's on the ground, better move out the road. Gotta flow like a hookah lounge, who won't smoke? If you choose to provoke, I might loosen the rope enough not to leave a bruise on your throat. The movement's strong, yeah. Strong enough to make a bunch of grown men spray hatred like cologne. We got too much out here going on in the path you traveling, Rocky Sylvester Stallone. But you and I leave it alone. Michael B. Jordan trying to get a creed of your own. Just leave me alone. How you gonna talk like a boss? You don't even own the keys to your home. You don't wanna see me in the zone. Blood of a king in my veins, I belong on the throne with a queen of my own. Infatuated by the muscle tone of my body, love squeezing my arm. If we in the war with the other side, why you not taking shots at the other guy? Let me summarize, you advertise black on black crime and antagonize. When I analyze it with my higher mind, I miss my Virgo nature with the fire sign. I can see it clearly through my third eye, point of view higher than the birds fly. No code of honor like the summer ride, they just target practice for me bullseye.
All right. We back up and we got our special guest in the building. Since we here, let me go ahead and bring the special guest in the building. Say what's up to the elder. Mighty Hebrew, and he got the little Lord with him. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shalom.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Look at him.
Yahshai. Where we at in East Africa, we in our Shabbat now. So Shabbat Shalom to everyone, all the Mishpachah all over the four corners of the earth. It's definitely an honor to be here with the family on the Argument League.
Hallelujah. Look at him. That's a king right there, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what we'll do, I'm gonna see, because I'm not sure even mine will share the audio. If more can come back in, we'll get him to share the audio. But make no mistake, we're ready to get this in even without it. All right. So let's just address this now, and then I'm gonna bring up some scriptures for you. So the argument, like I said, is that these people try to tell you that the Bible makes a mitigation for rape. Right now, I'm gonna try to share this. I'm gonna try to share this joint real quick. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear the audio. If not, if y'all can't hear the audio, then I'm going to have to just go over it through the verses. What do we got? We got this right here. All right, let me go ahead. Add the stream. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear the audio.
Oh no, Absalom didn't want her to say nothing. Here's why he didn't want her to say nothing. Because 2 years later, this is what he did. Now, Absalom had commanded his servants.
Are y'all able to hear the audio?
Yeah, you good, fam.
All right, let's get it.
Cain not doing it. Cain not doing it.
Ammon's heart is merry with wine. And when I say unto you, smite Ammon, then kill him. Fear not, I have commanded you to do so. Be courageous and be valiant. And the servants of Absalom did it to Ammon, and Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and every man got up upon his mule and fled. And the soul of King David longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Ammon, seeing Ammon was dead. That's not condoning. That is killing a nasty little rapist. Let's move forward. Shot number 2. If the Bible confirms rape, explain why David and Bathsheba are clearly in an adulterous relationship. Let's get it. David commits adultery with Bathsheba. And it came to pass in the eventide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David said and inquired of the woman, and one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers and took her. This word is not Kasak. He didn't take her by force, because look what she does. And she came in unto him, and he lay with her, only had sex with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. The very next verse, and the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. Why would a woman who has been raped even want to have anything to do with her quote-unquote rapist? Stop playing with me. Number 3, if the Bible condones David's actions, why was he punished? Now, you may not like the punishment, but he was punished. Wherefore thou hast despised, this is 2 Samuel chapter 12. Wherefore thou hast despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight. Whatever David did, it was evil. Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, not raped her, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Oh my goodness. So now, therefore, the sword shall never depart from thy house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thee, within thy wives in the sight of the sun. Where does it say it condone the rape? It does. Shot number 4. I'm killing this dude's premise. If the Bible condones rape, explain why the children of Israel killed the Benjamites for raping a Levite's concubine. Pay attention, this is kind of lengthy. Vengeance for the rape of the Bethlehem Judah concubine. And it came to pass in those days when there was no king in Israel, mind you, that there was a certain Levite sojourning in the side of Mount Ephraim, who took unto him a concubine of Bethlehem Judah, right? And his concubine played the whore against him and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem Judah, and she was there 4 whole months. Now, this is Judges 9:19. I'm going to go forward, family, and I'm going to give you the verses. If the brother wants to bring something else up, he can. I got a lot to cover. So basically what happens, Judges 9:19, they leave. They decide to go back home. Once they get traveling, they decide, okay, we need to find a place to stay. They see a gentleman. He invites them to come and stay with him. He offers them peace, all right? He says, yo, just come stay with me. I don't want you to lie into the street. That's verse 20. Now, when they were making their hearts, drinking and being merry, the sons of Belial, this is verse 22, beset the house round about and beat at the door and spake to the master of the house, not to the Levite, to the man that let him come in. The old man saying, bring forth the man that came into our house that we may know him. They wanted to sleep with the Levite. And the man, the master of the house, went out to them and said unto them, nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man hath come into my house, do not do this folly. Behold, there is my daughter and a maiden, his concubine. Them will I bring out to you, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you. But unto this man, do not so vile a thing. So it wasn't the Levite that did it. This is this nasty Benjamite, basically. But the men were not hearkening unto him. So what did the man do? So the man took, look at this word up, took, this is Kazak, took his concubine and brought her forth unto them. And they knew her and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. So they forcefully raped this woman, right? And so verse 27, and her Lord rose in the morning and opened the doors of the house and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was falling down at the door, and her hands were upon the threshold. And he said unto her, up, and lest we be going. And no one answered. So basically this woman died. She got raped and brutalized so much that she died. So what did he do? He takes her home. He cuts her up into pieces. I know this sounds heinous, right? He cuts her up into pieces. He sends her to all the tribes of Israel. Now, remember, they don't have a king at this time. So he sends her to all the tribes of Israel. What do? They all masked up. And it also says in verse 30, nothing like this was done in Israel, right? Not since they left Egypt. So all the children of Israel come together. They come up, they step up, and they get their swords. Now, verse 48 is the key. And the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin and smote them with the edge of the sword, and as well as the men of every city and the beasts and all that came into the hand. Guess what else it did? Also, they set fire to all the cities that came to. So if that man and that dirty Benjamite was still there, he was killed. He was punished for raping that concubine. This is not showing the donor. This is showing that they do not deal with it. Number 5, if the Bible condones rape, explain why Dinah's brother killed all the Hittite villagers. Vengeance for Dinah's fornication. Yes, I called it fornication, but even if the brother calls it rape, he still has to prove why they killed him. But let's keep it moving. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, was she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. Excuse me, here's a what. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite prince of the country, saw her, he took her. This word is not Kazak. This word is Lakat, or Lakat. I'm sorry, not Kazak, Lakat. And lay with her and defiled her. He took her virginity. But even if he did rape her, we'll see what happens, right? And Jacob heard that he defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with the cattle in the field. So basically, they're with the cattle. They come back, they're grieved because they know what has happened. They find out, and they say he has brought folly in Israel, lying with Jacob's daughter. What's the all got to be done? Doesn't say Kazak or force. He lied with her. They said he brought folly because he lied with her. He took her virginity without getting permission from their father. I have several scholars that will back this up. Ask me never so much a dowry and a gift. This sounds a lot like the law. And I will give according to you. You shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife. He wanted to wife her. Why? Because he was an honorable man. And the text says he was an honorable man, right? And they said unto him, we cannot do this thing to get you unto a sister. Now, here's why they were mad. One that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. They were mad because he was uncircumcised and he had sex with their sister. Verse 15. But in this will we consent unto you, if you will be as we, then every male will be circumcised, right? So they want him to get circumcised and want his whole village to be circumcised. Verse 19 calls him an honorable man. He is more honorable than all in the house of his father. Verse 25. And it came to pass on the third day that when they were served with the sword, the two sons of Jacob, Simeon, Levi, Dinah, and brethren, took each man a sword and came upon the city boldly and slew all the males. And they slew Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword, and Dinah. And they took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out. Once again, if she was raped, why is she there with him? Number two, they killed everybody. They killed everybody. And I'm going to show you why I keep asking why is she there with him. Because according to Israelite law, these women can leave. They can't run away. Let's keep moving. Then the sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city because they had defiled their sister. He slept with their sister. Now, let's get with Israel's laws on sexual matters.
All right, so now we're gonna deal with this law a little bit. But I want to show real quick. Hold on, let me remove this. I want to explain why we having this conversation real quick. Brother Mighty Hebrew Love, he'll be back. I want to show why we having this conversation though, because now we got to deal with everybody trying to make these conversations about what the law is and what this is, and you Israelites condone raping. No, the Bible does not condone rape. Make this clear. The Bible does not condone rape. Let's get this clear. The Bible makes it clear what happens to a rapist, and we're going to show that in the law. All right, we're going to show that to the law. We're going to show that in the law. We really about to go in and show you in the law and why this thing is important. And then we're going to speak then after that to the psychosis of somebody who's saying the things that I keep hearing people say. Right? Now, back at it. Y'all got me twisted.
Because this is where it becomes plain. Once again, my sixth shot to this man's premise. If the Bible condones rape, explain why those so-called females oppressed by the law says to kill both the man and the woman if they commit adultery. Wow, that doesn't sound very patriarchal to me. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed to a husband and the man find her in the city and lie with her, notice he didn't take her, so y'all be going to get stuck on that, then you shall bring them both out into the gate of the city, and ye shall stone them, both of them with stones, that they die. The damsel because she cried not, meaning she didn't tell anybody, not because she didn't shed a tear, being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. She was a virgin, he took her virginity.
Now understand this. That is the custom in Israel. You defile this woman, and not defile as in rape her, but defile her as in taking her virginity. And both of y'all was committing adultery, meaning she was betrothed to marry a man, and you decided to come entice her. And we'll show you that word entice. We can show you how that worked out. But regardless, y'all have consensual adulterous sex. Then the law it makes it clear that they're supposed to be put to death.
So thou shalt put away evil from among you. My next shot to the premise. If the Bible condones rape, explain why the so-called female oppressive law says that a man has to marry the virgin after he entices her, which is what Shechem tried to do, right? Exodus 22, 16 and 17. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, what should he do? He shall surely endow her to be his wife. If he entices her, if her father utterly refused to give unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. He couldn't just come get it for free. He couldn't just walk around with it, right? Couldn't just knock it down and then keep it moving. That's not what we do in this group. Verse 28 and 29. This is what people try to play and say that this condones rape. If a man finds a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found. That is the key. And they be found. That means they were having consensual sex. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he has humbled her. Once again, taking her virginity. He may not put it away all.
Now, that becomes imperative, because when I show you the aftermath, when we hear the conversation between the sister, she specifically goes to this particular verse to try to say that this is the rape mitigation, but then has to acquiesce and say that that Exodus 16 verse, along with this, actually shows that this is not some form of rape. So why do we keep getting here? Why do we keep going here? Because of the psychosis of rape apologists. That's why. Because people that want to condone some type of weird rape and blame it on the Bible, their psychosis will not allow them to hear the truth. Their psychosis will not allow them to get over it. Now, I will say this. We're not victim shaming because there are people who have been victimized through these heinous crimes and their brain will not allow them to overcome this. And those people are the people that we pray for and that we hope and that we assist. And we give different types of ways to get like things like cognitive behavioral therapy to help them overcome this. But those who just want to refuse to see the truth, we have to point out that this speaks to some form of psychosis. Let's continue.
On his days. So we've already shot his fingers because we see the same type of law and condoning and fighting for a virgin as a betrothal woman. My next shot to the frame. If the Bible condones rape, explain why does the law say that the man that rapes a woman shall die?
And this is the cut.
It does not show condoning. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field and the man force her, kazak, and lie with her, I told you that word kazak is the killer, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing, there is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, for as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. My next shot to the frame. If the Bible condones the rape of slaves, explain why the law says that a man has to marry a slave before they have sex. So Leviticus 19:20, I want to give you some context first. And whosoever lieth carnally with a woman that is a bondmaid betrothed to a husband. How is this bondmaid betrothed to a husband and not at all redeemed for freedom given her? She shall be scourged. She shall not be put to death because she was not free, meaning she does not need to be put to death because she didn't even really know the law yet, because she's a slave girl. Now, here we go. Here's what cuts you. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemy, and the Lord thy God hath delivered them into thy hands, and thou hast taken them captives, and seeing among the captives a beautiful woman, and hath a desire. That word has a desire. Look, it means he loved her. He had affection towards her. He wasn't just lusting after her. That thou wouldest have her to thy wife. These men were not nasty dudes. They took marriage seriously. Then thou shalt bring her home to thy house, and they shall shave her head and pare her nails. And she shall put off the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in the house and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that, thou shalt go in unto her and be her husband, and she shall be her wife. Oh my God, he just took this woman and had sex with her. Well, explain this to me. Explain how Israel condones oppressing a slave girl, but the law says that slaves can run away.
And this will be the last one, and then we're going to get into it.
To a place of their choosing. How can a slave run away? Watch this. This is what the law says. Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in the place that which he shall choose. That means these slaves could run away wherever they wanted to. In one of thy gates, where it liketh him best, thou shalt not oppress them. That means that this slave girl, if she didn't want to marry this man, she could leave. She could run away. We are just snatching women up and making them marry men. That's not the way it happened. In the Bible, this is my next shot.
So yeah. Y'all there, family? Let's go ahead and get this in now. Let's go ahead and cook a little bit. Let's go ahead and cook. Y'all there more? Brother Mighty Hebrew, y'all there?
Yeah,
all right. So now,
Absolutely.
So y'all help me out with this, King. Right? Because what we dealing with now is the accusation is that the Bible tells you that not only is it okay to rape, but especially what certain people say, it's okay to rape a slave. The Bible tells you it's okay to go out here and rape a slave. But we just went over clear-cut verses that show you that these things are not okay, to say the least. I want to give the elder a chance to chime in because I know he got the book out and he been dealing with this before we was even walking in this walk, right? And it's crazy because I had never heard him do a teaching on this. I had never heard anybody do a teaching on this. I took the time to research this and study the scriptures for myself. And it's amazing how the things that we've talked about now behind the scenes line up completely because it's right there in the Bible. Go ahead, elder.
Shalom, Bahashim, Yahweh, this is Israel. Can y'all hear me?
We hear you.
Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom to the family, giving all praise and honor to Yahweh, the supreme, intelligent, powerful, one of our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. They were starting for righteousness' sake. I say to the family, Shabbat shalom. I just want to real quick, reiterate what you were saying. Everything you were saying, Anonymous Hebrew, is absolutely correct. Anybody that understand any Hebrew grammar, Nikwadah, dealing with Dibarium or the Tanakh, when you start at the 15th, not the 15th, excuse me, the 13th verse and shooting down, you will see that the 22nd chapter of Dibarium or Deuteronomy, it's okay. You don't have to take it. Okay. Excuse me, y'all. Deuteronomy chapter 22, 13, going down to 30, is giving you an analogy of three types of women. The first, you'll see a married woman and what will happen and the repercussions if she commits adultery on her husband. Then you see the one that is in the state of mikwadash, or one that is in the form of engagement. You see the repercussions if she violates the brit or the covenant that she has by the way of being covered by the way of a shamar, one to guard and keep when it comes to the state of mikwadash or engagement. Then the third is a woman that is a bathula or a virgin within the or amongst the daughters of Zion. So I want to start real fast, if you don't mind, real quick. Can I elaborate on a few verses, my Lord?
And you know what it is.
All right. Deuteronomy chapter 22, 13. I'm just going to shoot down real quick. If a man take a wife and go into her and hate her. Now, when one understands how to litigate, then they understand better precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Many of us have been caught in a religious frenzy, believing that verse that is outlined in Yeshayahu speaks upon running to any verse. It don't matter if it's in the prophets or the New Testament or whatever. That statement had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the Saffatim or the judges litigating Torah. So the precept behind that would actually be Bereshit or Genesis chapter 29, 21. So as we continue on, it says, and give occasions of speech against her and bring up an evil name upon her and say, I took this woman and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Now, it's funny when you go into the 13th verse of Deuteronomy 22, we see here first one that is being accused of not being a virgin. And then the last verse that we're going to be penetrating on is the 28th verse. This is the verse that those from the other side try to use to justify a rape doctrine, when in fact, nowhere in Tanakh nor Torah Constitution does it condone rape. This is a fact. Watch this. It says, verse 15, it says, came into her and found her not a maid, right? Verse 15, then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring 40 the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city gate, meaning now the elders of your city will be your Zakwanim. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he have hated her. And lo, he have given occasions of speech against her. So this man, the Abba is like going to the elders saying like, look, this man, for whatever reasons, is falsely accusing my daughter of not being a virgin when he took her. It says, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. Remember, in the Hebrew culture, we put a white sheet under the maiden or the bride to be, right? And in turn, when you would go into her, the nida is supposed to take shape. The flowing of the blood, by the way, from out of the korban, or what they saying to her, oh, you popped a cherry. Little statements like that. This is what this is speaking about. That is the token that proves that when this man married this woman, she was a virgin, right? Then it says, and they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. Verse 18. And the Zakwanim of that city shall take that man and chastise him. Now watch why he gets chastised. Remember, they try to say that the Bible is a male chauvinistic book and is misogynist, right? Watch why he gets chastised. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him, and they shall immerse him and 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he have brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel. Did y'all hear that, gang? Y'all with me?
Man, break that last part down one more time. Because he did what?
Remember, it says, and they shall amidst him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he have brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife. He may not put her away all his days. Why? Because he lied on it. And he got chastised by the elders of the community because of him trying to bring evil upon the name of a virgin or a daughter of Zion or Israel. Verse 20. But if this thing be true, now it's saying in reverse, and the tokens of virginity not be found for the damsel. Now y'all gotta look at this, because if there's no blood on that white cloth, then that means she was secretly behind her father's back, having sexual relations with the man while she was under her father's roof. Are you with me?
Thanks.
Okay, now verse 28 is going to be understood much clearer. Watch this. It says, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die, because she had walked foully in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. Checkmate. So what was happening is, before she married this brother here, she was under her father's roof, must have had a sexual relation or something with a man, or maybe a few men, playing a whore but acting as a virgin. Are y'all with me?
Yeah, we with you, King. We with you.
Okay.
Got the verse.
Genesis, a bit of she 34:7 is the precept for Deuteronomy chapter 22:21, verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then they shall both be put to death or die, both the man that liveth with the woman and the woman. So shall thou put away the evil from Israel. Precept, Wayikra, or Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. Now, the reason why the man gets put to death for various reasons. One, because he laying with another man's wife. Two, remember, it's the man that possessed the woman. So when you ejaculate in that woman and that semen going to the woman, there's a spiritual energy or a portion of yourself that possesses that woman. When a man goes into your wife on a sense of adultery, now he's spiritually practicing a form of homosexuality. Why? Because he's going into another man's wife whose spirit dwell in that woman. You see what I'm saying? This is why it clearly lets you know that you are the possessor of that woman. She don't possess you, you possess her, because you're going into her. She's not going into you. Watch verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, meaning she's in the state of Mikwadash, right? And the man find her in the city and lie with her, then y'all shall bring them both. Why? Because she didn't cry out that she was being raped. So she was a woman engaged, meaning the spiritual energy of the man she was engaged with was upon her. Okay, it was upon her. And there was a covenant made. She violated that by having sexual relations with somebody outside, and she got caught. Then ye shall bring them both out into the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones, that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, see, being in the city, and the man, because he had humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among them. That is in, now you can deal with the comparative study or dealing with precept with Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 14, 25, because I'm shooting at 28. I'm going to prove this has nothing to do with rape. 25, but if a man find a betrothed or engaged damsel in the field, and the man force kazakh her, and
Say that
lie
word
with
again,
her.
King. Say that word again.
Kazakh.
Yes, sir.
Force
That's the word
her
of the
and
day
lie
right there,
with
family.
her.
That's the word of the day for
Then
y'all
the
today.
man came. Then the man only that lay with her shall die. So that word is defining something of force, as in the stab coming from a dagger. So that right there is letting you know that was a forceful rape. Verse 26, but into the damsel that shall do nothing, there is in the damsel no sin of worthy of death. So if there has to be a constitutional amendment within the structure of the Hebrew Israelite sovereign nationalistic paradigm for the woman not to be in the harm's way, there had to be litigation by the way of a Sanhedrin amongst our Sephardim, our judges, as outlined and shows us in Numbers chapter 1, verse 18, how to do that, or starting at 16, shooting down, right? There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, for as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this manner. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. See that? And then after that, she went and told. Verse 28, here's the key. If a
Whoa, hold on. You
man,
glossed over that. Hold on, because you glossed over that. Because there was none to save her. Meaning
there
that
was
she
none that
had to
said,
go later and go say something to somebody.
right, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. None to save her at the time when she was in the field getting raped. Then she went and told right afterwards. Right
What did
afterwards.
they do?
Verse
Then they kill him.
Cain. Verse 28. Here's the key. If a man finds a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lie hold of her. Now, when you go into this verse, it speaks of a form of enticement, and lie with her. Now, watch this. And they be found. Stop. And they be found. Now, the precept to this is in the same chapter.
Let me do
Okay.
this for you real
In
quick,
this,
King. Let me do this for you real quick. This is the word he
okay.
read. Tafas. Notice, and we just dealing with the Strongs. I'm not even gonna give y'all like Brown's, Drivers, Briggs, and go deeper into all of these other lexicons. Y'all ain't ready for that.
Right.
The first explanation is to manipulate, but everybody wants to run to the seas or chiefly to capture, but then move away from the word willed, or especially to overlay, figuratively to use unwarrantably. That's what this is about.
Absolutely.
We're gonna play it where more actually explains to the sister that he's talking about, as we would say, he talked her out of her draw. He talked her into having sex with him. That's what this is about. This is not talking about forcing yourself for some woman. That is not part of the culture. And y'all asking, why is this important? Because now we're gonna start talking about morals and what the conscious community should be doing, since they running around here attacking the Bible all the time. How come they won't go and show you this? How come they won't go into this? All they do is run their mouth. Keep going, King.
Cain, the precept, remember precept upon precept, line upon line, is really litigating Torah constitution. So the precept for verse 28 will be verse 24. What is that? Then ye shall bring them both out. Verse 28. And they be found. They be found, meaning this was a consensual relationship. Let's give a hypothetical scenario, because what I'm about to show is going to give you an understanding of the woman playing a harlot in the household. Remember, we read earlier about the woman that was engaged. Remember that? And then in turn, she was, laying with another man. Remember that? So now this virgin right here in the 28th verse, she's having a sexual relation with a man that her household don't know about. This is when the 50 pieces of shekels is going to come in the 29th verse. Now, as we continue to read this, remember the reason why this man in the future is going to have to keep this woman for the rest of his life, because of the fact he can't, or the father can't pass the daughter off to any man, because if he does, when the time of laying with that woman and she don't have no nida coming from the Qurbah, then his daughter going to be put to death as playing a harlot under her father's roof. Are y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now it says, and they be found. Then the man that lieth with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, or he laid with her, and he may not put her away all his days. Why? Because he's sleeping with her. So the father, remember, virginity in the Hebrew culture was a major part of our paradigm. So if the father would have been like, all right, and let the man go, now it's time for the woman to get married, and then the white sheet go under, and there's no blood flow, that woman's going to get put to death. So let's say today we abstract the principle, and that happened to us. It happens all the time in the hood. We got to be true about what's going on with us as a people. In the hood, you got a lot of sisters that's in the hood. Maybe they're young teenagers or they're young adults, whatever the case may be, and they under their parents' roof and they having sex and their parents don't even know it. This is what's going on right here that you see in the 28th verse going down to the 29th verse. This has nothing to do with rape at all. Nowhere in the Tanakh does it condone rape. Nowhere. Everywhere you go in the Tanakh where somebody do something that's horrific as either raping a child, raping a married woman, raping a woman that is engaged, or raping a virgin, and if she cry out, he's going to get put to death. All these instances where that man is in violation, he's going to get put to death. So if anybody's saying that rape is okay in the scripture, nowhere does it say these things. Where the misinformation is coming from in certain stances is people misunderstanding by the way of mistranslations in many Bibles, and also because of a hidden agenda based on maybe personal vendettas against the nation of Israel, and they trying to impose as if Israel is dealing with a bunch of deviants and rapists, and they using the Bible as the premise to show that psychological trauma is with, or this rape trauma is causing the Israelites, so to say, to manifest rape because it's a part of their doctrine. You see what they're trying to do? They're trying to make it seem as though our system of cultural expression condones rape. So in that retrospect, we'll just be born a bunch of rapists and pedophiles. That's what they're trying to say. So it's deeper than just, you know, they're saying the Bible condones rape. They're basically trying to say, if we don't get rid of or abolish this Bible, then it's going to bring forth a nation of functional illiterates, rapists, and child molesters. That's what they're saying. Hallelujah. I'm going to pass the mic.
Hallelujah.
Appreciate y'all for letting the elder come and get that in. This is his Shabbat. That's why I wanted to, especially I was so excited when he agreed to come on and do this. So now let's get into the crux of the matter, because now we're going to deal with what happens after this, right? So we go through this debate, you know what I'm saying? I debate the brother in Cozy, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him, good debate or whatever, and I win. So we do the after show, and we find out Sister Nepal want to jump on the drone. Yeah, now I'm going to say your name. Nepal want to jump on the drone and start fussing and fighting with every man on the panel in order to say that the Bible either mitigates rape or that the Bible condones rape. And what we're going to start to see is a round and round psychotic decision to try to press this on people. Now, if this sister has gone through trauma and this is what's hurting her, then I pray for her that she will get some type of assistance. But just because that situation, you can't go around terrorizing people and accusing the Bible of saying things that it does not. Because what you do is you run the risk of destroying people's ideology and their faith and their understanding of a book. I ain't saying you got to deal with the Bible. But what I am saying is you're not going to use the Bible to attack us and lie on us. That's what we're going to end. We're going to steamroll this today. And I dare you to try to have this debate with me, or train up who you want to have this debate with me, or have any conversation with me and my brothers. We'll go ahead and show how we're not afraid of this conversation, right? So more, you got the timestamps, right?
I got the beginning timestamp at the end. Like, so I wasn't get the specific ones because we were sparring with a Yara when I was trying to get a timestamp.
Wow, we can get in. By the way, the elder really was trying to get at it to make sure we were able to have this conversation. Hey, yo, shout out to Elder Yard, bro. Let's just go put this out. Like, he stay punching, bro. He stay punching. Hey, and then in a little bit, go ahead and if you can post that link in the war room, so a couple of the brothers like Yashar and right.
Yes, sir.
You know
Yes, sir.
But back to the point, right? Because now, and I'm gonna have to show y'all some scriptures, and we're gonna address this. We're gonna deal with it because psychosis is real. Right? Understand that psychosis is real. So first off, let me see. I got it up.
Hold on, real quick before you jump into it. Can I narrative? Are you getting into the video or the scrolls?
Yeah, I'm gonna go into the aftermath. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, but before you do it, because like my brother's a little too humble, and he won't, you know what I'm saying, toot his own horn a little bit. So I'm gonna try to set a narrative right quick in the sense to where like Sister Napaz out here in these YouTube streets, confirming that we've already had this conversation 2 years ago. And she's out here saying that she drug us on this conversation, i.e. that none of the points that we made were valid, and that my brother's debate was not definitive on the topic or whatnot. And he showed you a clip of his premise. He didn't go to the whole debate, but he went into the premise. And so when she shows up, understand this is after that debate that he just showed you the clip of. Earlier on the YouTube Street channel, he premiered the entire debate. Please go watch that. So when you watch that, to understand she comes up after that. And comes into like the post show an hour and change after such, right? But now 2 years later, so this happens on August 8th, 2019. August 8th, 2019. 2 years later, we're in the midst of this whole polite scandal and whatnot. And before the scandal, Nepal is on H.O.K. debating this very topic. Does the Bible condone rape? And saying the very same thing she's saying here. She literally gets corrected here and actually admits that she's wrong. She doesn't say she's wrong, but she concedes to the point. But 2 years later, she's now trying to change the point she conceded to, and saying that she drug us on this stuff. So a little bit before the whole polite scandal pops off, we see that Nepal has this debate, and just recently, within this last week, she was on the H.O.K. talking about the Bible condones rape. And again, that the Most High backs the. On one hand, she'll say the Most High doesn't back the concept, but he backed them in what they did. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So in this conversation here, you'll see again, she doesn't address the points that the brother made in his debate, where he just again, what's the word of the day, fam?
Zot, boy.
She don't touch it at all. There's another instance. There's another couple concepts. Yes, sir.
Damn.
Yes, sir. Word of the day, fam. There's got to be forcible rape in the situation to prove it's rape. It's got to be force shown. Like, so basically, long story short, if a young woman is found in the field with the man, or she's found to be laying with the man, she's gonna say one of two things: either "Daddy, he's raping me," or "Daddy, I love him." One of the two. So this is a conversation me and his sister have. Anonymous jumps in, and a few other brothers from the War Machine jump in. Shout out to DJ Black Charm, brother Yashar, etc. But she starts off by stipulating there's 3 ways a woman can get. 3 ways. One is through betrothal. One is through enticement. The other is by rape.
Hey, say that again. And notice, that's not what we said.
No, we didn't establish that. She established it.
It's 3 ways that a woman can get married. And one of those ways, she said, is through rape. Think of the psychology of someone that says you can actually get married through rape. Come on, fam.
Right.
That's the first time step you got? That's the one you got?
2 hours and 28 minutes, yeah. Because that's where I come in. I initiate the conversation, and then she establishes the 3 points.
Hold on, brothers. For real, she believes that? Like,
Yes.
this is the first time I heard this.
You gonna hear her say it with her own mouth, man.
About to hear it.
Wow. That's deep.
Hold on. So real quick, before you hit play, so she acknowledges enticement, right? So what was enticement you were talking about earlier, Prince?
Toughest.
Say that one more time.
So there's in Exodus, there's a concept of like enticement, right?
Oh,
And then in
That's right.
Deuteronomy, there's this concept of again where I'm saying like the woman, like where they say lay hold, but again, my brother showed how that word says to manipulate right off rip, and or to use unwarrantably, which goes hand in hand with the concept, right? And so in both situations in Exodus and then in Deuteronomy, you see that there's a bridal price paid. That also becomes an issue within the conversation. So real quick, she acknowledges 3 forms of marriage, one of them being enticement. By the end of the conversation, she's trying to make 2 of them the same form. She tries to make enticement and rape the same thing.
Facts. You ready?
That's wrong, because we know that the precept for Deuteronomy 22:28 is Deuteronomy 22:24. They were brought, meaning that they were together in that situation of entanglement. Period.
More. Go ahead and post that link. I think you post that link in the war room for me, please.
Yes, sir. Right now.
My fault, Yashar. That's my bad, bro. We had got busy arguing with Elder.
Yeah, that's me sloughing, bro. Yeah, we were juggling a whole bunch of stuff. That's me sloughing.
But no, and also Yashar, Mighty Hebrew, we had already talked. He had got the link earlier. He just didn't know he had it. He had it before. That's on me though. All that's on me. Blame me. My fault. It's coming to you right now, General. All right, so let's go ahead and get this cooking, man. I'm going to share. Screen 1. Let's get it.
12 hours. It takes a long time to walk.
It sound good, family.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, it's good. I can hear it good.
First of all, then you know what I mean. The festival got to get started. Then the virgins got to come out and all that. They got to wait patiently for the virgins to come out. So that's what I see from my perspective, is that they went up and gained the women and took the virgins home with them. Not rape right there on the spot. Orgy rape. That's it.
I agree with you, Clay. Who's that? Who's next?
Nah, I ain't gonna go with that. I was just gonna say that's what Yara just said too.
Next, though.
Knowledge.
More was waiting.
More was next. I'm sorry, More.
Yeah, I'll go after more if I can.
No worries. Hey, real quick, sis, if we could, I would like to build with you, and beforehand, I'd like to try to set a baseline. One, I got a profound respect for how you see things. Like I told you the other day, a conversation we had, you helped me understand some things about my deceased father that I appreciate greatly. So based upon that respect, I would like to be able to have a conversation where I can learn and understand where you're coming from, and I can at least state where I'm coming from, and there can be an understanding. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree at the outset. 3, if we could, I'd like to try to break down how I heard what you said, and have you interrupt me and correct me wherever you can, so I can correctly understand what you're saying. 4, I would like to, wherever there's a point of disagreement, if we can, let's go back to the previous part of the scripture, like the Deuteronomy, and clear things up there.
Now I want to point out how and let me know when your shark get here in the back. I want to point out how the brother Moore is being extremely respectful right now, right? He's being extremely respectful. He's showing a lot of poise, a lot of actual decorum in this situation. And the thing that this turns into with this is insanity, bro. Like, it's nuts. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put this on this joint so I can make sure I keep the other one over here. It's insanity, right? I ain't even gonna play no games with y'all. Like, it turns into something that's nuts. So, if I keep playing this more, how long is it before she actually says it?
It might be a minute or two, like because it's in it, like because I set it up and then she gives her intro and breakdown. So she sets up, like, one of the first things she sets up is like, I wasn't able to completely timestamp. I was like I said, I got at the beginning of the conversation, but it's at the beginning part of the conversation where she says three ways of getting married or whatnot, right? I suggest you just let it play because we go around with it. You know what I'm saying? You can jump around, but if you let it play, you'll see what it is. You know what I'm saying?
And then first off, let me go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I want to welcome the brother, the General Yashar, to the building. Oh man, he fell off. I was just gonna bring him in. He fell off. That's a brother. That's our other brother, a great member of the tank. Here we go. Because I didn't want to be into the zone and not be able to let him in. You there, King? Yashar.
You're muted out.
Muted if you're talking to us, Yashar. I think my brother working on his technical issues. If I got this up, let me know. But I should be able to work it out to where I'm working off the other screen. Yeah, he working on something. But yeah, we're gonna deal with this because y'all gotta hear this, bro. And I wish we'd have been able to get all the timestamps, bro. It's nuts, man.
Yeah, this is all her in her own words. We're not making this up, and we're not clipping this up. We didn't make this up. This is a stream that happened.
Right. Let's get it.
Just so I can understand what you're saying about it.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Sure.
Yeah. So from what I understand, let me share my screen real quick. And like I said, please feel free to jump in because there was a lot of people. We were all talking over each other when we all didn't quite hear clearly. So please interrupt me.
Hey, now when you meet yourself out, we can't hear the speakers.
Move forward. What your mom said, which like you said, we have different takes on it, but we don't have to like attack each other. That particular area, Shiloh, yes, there were Canaanites living there, and yes, that can be seen as a pagan ritual. But Israelites also dwelt in that area, specifically, different Israelites, but specifically Ephraimites. And they, now possibly there were, and I'm saying possibly there were Canaanite women in the group, but there definitely were Israelite women amongst that group during that celebration. And I can align with him on that it was a pagan celebration. So I just want to put that out there. So go on.
No worries.
So first off, we got a pagan celebration with a group of Israelites doing something pagan, which means then that they are not following the law, correct?
Check.
Got you. Let's go.
You can't mute out, bro. Yeah.
So at this juncture, I had a question because if I go back to the previous, I'm wondering why they're complaining because, so you're saying that this act was lawful based upon Deuteronomy 22:28, correct?
According to the law in Deuteronomy 22, that verse 28 makes, I like to use the word mitigation or concession, whatever you want to say,
no worries.
For rape.
Okay.
It's not, the word concession is not so great, but there's a mitigation for the so-called transgression that is rape. Yes.
So they're not just mad about the rape, the so-called rape of this young brother. They would also be mad about like they're not getting paid the 50 shekels.
Well, you know what? Let's just look at it this way. I know this is hard for people to swallow, but that particular culture, daughters were daughters. Of course, they loved their daughters first, but it also was a, you could move in a business way, for financial reasons. You could marry a virgin to a very powerful man. So that was the father's possession. That is, I'm sorry to everyone that doesn't want to hear that. It was his daughter is his possession, and he has the right to betroth her to who he wants. And if some guy comes and violates her, he messes up his.
So here's the other issue, and this is where we start to move into this hypocritical psychosis. I hate to say this. You can't in one space say that the father loves his daughter so much, and then in the next space say that he's literally going to arrange a marriage that's going to be devastating to her and make her be raped, because that's literally what she's trying to do. She's trying somehow to get to the point where she plays both sides of the fence. You can't say a father loves his child so much and then say, oh, well, he's just going to marry her off so he can marry into some strong family and she's his possession. And where do you see this at? Where are you getting this concept at? And if you're dealing in the book of Judges, which we're going to get into, that's why the end of Judges 21 clearly says every man did what was right in his own eyes, because they didn't have a king. They were not following Torah. Let's continue.
Ability to betroth his daughter to the man that he wants her to be with.
Right. So you're saying that's a viable damage that would have to have some kind of redemption price too.
According to the law.
I can understand the perspective for sure. But just so we're clear, like, so this would be like adding insult to injury based upon how you see it. And I'm trying to make sure I'm clear on how you see it. So I'm not trying to paint what you're saying. I'm trying to make sure I understand.
Also, I want to say this real quickly, because now we're going to talk about that dance and that festival. When those women were going out, they were, it was a pagan ritual for virgins to dance and show, okay, I'm a virgin, I'm available. No betrothed woman, no betrothed daughter was going to go out to that festival. So that's another reason why they suggested, all the tribes said, okay, go to that festival, because those women, we know they're not betrothed. They're virgins and they're available.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not even tripping on the festival, right? That's
about betrothal, the betrothal part. The only
right. So from what I understand in Deuteronomy, though, like we're talking about like a woman in the field, etc. Like this is adding insult to injury, because not only were the women taking air quotations, but they were also taking air quotations again to another place, right? So it was like you said, kidnapping, correct? So
it's called bride napping.
Right. So like there's not even the dropping off of the 50.
All right, hold up. Hey, look. Bride napping is a modern term. Okay. Now, whatever these men did, we're gonna agree that they was wrong. The issue is to take that and try to then use that to run back to the law, to run back to the Torah. That's where we're gonna have a problem. That's where the issue comes.
Shekels, like it's like, damn, I got my daughters got snatched up and I didn't even get the shekels. Like,
I mean, it's not in the text, so I can't, postulate about if they receive 50 shekels or not. I know that the text says.
All right, so we can see right here. We can see right here's what I'm saying is like, so you have the elders talking about like, hey, giving the advice, hey, go do this, right? And they're saying like, hey, go do this and take him and dip, and they're saying that the fathers are going to come complain at one point, right? And nowhere are they saying go pay. They're saying laying wait. They're not saying go pay the 50, right? So
yeah, they're raping them. Hence, they do what they see right in their own eyes. They are definitely raping those women, though.
Wait a minute. Somebody conversate with me, please. Conversate with me, please.
Did she say they were doing what they saw was right in their own eyes?
That's exactly what she just said. And then later tries to say that that's not an issue. Oh, that doesn't matter. I know that's what I do.
Yo, Anonymous Hebrew.
Go ahead, King.
That statement right there wouldn't even apply because that was in the book of Judges. We're doing the time of 1446 BCE, coming from out of the way of the Exodus, going into the promised land. So if we're looking at these things for what they truly are, this has nothing to do with what she's conveying. Some instances where she's saying is true about, a father's possession, but not in the sense of how they trying to define it in Western thought. Right. To them, possession is like, yo, I'm overseeing this like a piece of furniture or something like that. No, it's more of dealing with the word in Hebrew. It's shamarium. Shamarium is the same Hebrew word in the book when Adam was told to watch and to keep the garden. This is the origin of the word samurai, to samar, to keep, to watch, to guard. That's the same word that's being used for possession in many cases in the Tanakh.
Right. And so, but the funny thing is, we even point out in the book of Judges at the end of it, it says every man does what was right in his own eyes. And she later tries to act like that's not, she tries to act like that's not pertinent to this conversation. Of course it is, because during the time of the judges, these cats is doing wickedness. That's why they're going in and out of captivity. That's why they end up having the famines. They're not keeping Torah.
Okay.
So how you gonna say that then this is what the Most High did? How you gonna say that this is what this is the prescription of the day for the Most High? Like, this is psycho. Look, hold on. Hear it again. Hear it again.
Cool.
Rape.
Right? So
yeah, they're raping them. Hence, they do what they see right in their own eyes.
You heard it, right?
They are definitely raping those women, though.
Hold on real quick. Wait. So if raping them is doing what they thought was right in their own eyes, does that mean that it's against the law or part of the law to rape women?
It's against the law. If you're doing what's right in your own eyes, that means you're going against the law of the Most High. I
just wanted to be clear about that. Appreciate you, brother, man.
Sister Barb, all love. Type in the chat. Please tell us how we not being 100, because we went over all of these verses ad nauseum. Please tell us how we not being 100, because I'll allow you. I'll even allow you on the panel, because I want to hear from some of the sisters. I don't want it to seem like we just trying to sit here and lord over anything. I would love to hear from a couple of the sisters, because I think we're being very transparent about the conversation. Let's keep going.
More. Look up the word rape, the origin. Raptio means to take, to kidnap. And then, of course, we know that there's, because we know women are taken against their will. I'm talking about the base of the word. Rape, it also means to take sex from someone against their will. But the core of the word means to kidnap, to abscond with, to capture, to take something. Raptio. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't looked the word up for a while.
Hey, look. Shalom, family.
Shalom, go ahead.
When we talk about taking something or taking anything according to our heritage, is nothing of the sense of forcibly taking anything. Okay, that's first that needs to be understood. There's no word and that's used in the scripture that she's relating to that says that we take it however we want to take it, right? It's a process to us taking ownership of things, right? And even when it comes down to even us claiming our women, it's a process to that, right? So for me to take my wife is what I'm supposed to do. That's not to say that I'm going to her father and saying, this is my wife and I'm taking her. What? You don't find that nowhere in the scripture. You don't find that nowhere in our language, right? Our characteristics does not show that in the ancient writings, in our ancient verbal records, okay? None of that. You don't find it. So what she's saying is strictly from opinion, from what she was taught, from whoever she was taught it by. This is not the characteristics of Yahshua, and you cannot honestly, with facts, point any of these things out in no way, fashion, or form. The last thing, our elders, right? Our elders knew what was going on when it came down to taking ownership or taking a wife. The father knew and our father knew. So we have to put ourselves in position to be able to take the wife.
Mm-hmm.
This is our character. This is our heritage. This is the way that we carried ourselves.
Right.
So if you can't make sense of the information according to how we actually did it, is it fact or is it opinion? That's what you have to ask yourself, family, when you're listening.
Yeah. Hallelujah. And so because maybe some people pulled up late, maybe there's a misunderstanding of what's going on. Remember, we open up showing the actual debate that I had with Nkosi, and I played the premise round, just opening premise round to set the stage. But make no mistake, we show in the law how the law does not condone rape. And notice how when she's making her case right now, she's making the case in Judges. She's not making the case in the law. She's going to the worst possible place in the Tanakh to prove something about the law. Go ahead, Moore.
And in pointing out the language concept, because Yashar rightly pointed to the language, and Brother Asiatic is in the chat talking about language is key 100%. Understand she bases her argument off of Latin here. She starts talking about the word rape in English and goes into the Latin base for it. And so the whole time we start addressing the scrolls via the Hebrew from start to finish. That's what Anonymous has been saying. Like, okay, we're talking about the word of the day is what?
Kazakh.
I'm saying. And so we got a couple other words today, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. We got a couple other words today too that we're about to point out and whatnot. And but again, like my brother Bashar was saying, like nowhere in our scrolls are we meant to forcibly take anything. That's not prescribed for us. And so, like she says here, my man's was doing what they saw in their right in their own eyes by raping the women, right? And so you can see here, like when it says to take the women here or whatever, catch the women here, it literally they are taking them prisoner in Hebrew.
Facts.
Literally imprisoning them.
Facts.
Like my man said, this is the worst possible case to use for what you're trying to say.
Right.
But right here, real quick, real soon after this, she gets into the whole like I think the three ways of marriage. But go ahead, fam.
I just want to quote two verses real quick. Shalom, this Prince Charlotte and the mighty Hebrew. The first one is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7, when it says, "Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask our father, and he may show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee." So it's definitely an honor to be on here because I see what the brother Anonymous Hebrew doing. He introduced me as an elder. So in that retrospect, you will have somebody within the culture that been around for many, many years. I got 3 decades in. I heard this argument before, and this argument always fell on its face. Then when you go to Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 13, it says, "Take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes that I will make them rulers over you." That's in correlation. And you can deal with the precept in Shemo, Exodus 18:21, verse 14, "And ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us." So, and then verse 16 lets you know, "And I've charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren," which is inclusive of sisters, "and judge righteously between every man and woman and his brother and the stranger that is within him. Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great." So the whole point is you need elders and those that are astute, that have a pedigree, as we see in the scripture, to litigate these scriptures. So my thing is this: we just investigated the whole matter in Deuteronomy chapter 22. Verse 28 is the precept for that, is verse 24. It says them and they were discovered. So in that understanding, there was no forceful rape. It was a woman that was a virgin that became enticed by a man, you know, and she liked that man and she laid with that man, and eventually they got caught. Now, how many times they laid, it doesn't say, but it gives us the example, and then in turn we're abstracting what we're reading and building upon the principle. And in that retrospect, we know for a fact, if you can get put to death for rape, why would the father take 50 shekels for his virgin daughter getting raped? Now look at this, y'all. If that was cool, all you have to do is give 50 shekels to rape a virgin. You know,
that's her argument.
You know
to save your life.
But
that's your life.
Right, but you know how many rapes would be, continuous amounts of rapes. That's how you know there's no logic to that, because a nigga just be like, shit, I can rape any chick. All I got to do is give them 50 shekels. That's that. You know what I mean? So we know that mind state, what is being driven, that doesn't make any sense at all. It would just be mass rape, and we know that's not the case in Israel.
On top of that, fam, like it doesn't make sense, because if the father is taking 50 shekels for the rape or whatnot, he just made his daughter a harlot. We're not allowed to make our daughters harlots.
We're not allowed to make our
Cain.
Hey, that's an excellent point.
So we gotta break multiple laws to make this fit. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. So in today's culture, if we take the principle out of it, hypothetical, let's say anonymous Hebrew, he like my daughter like her. I mean, like him. They behind my back having a sexual relation. Now, I'll find out there's a dishonor in the house. So in modern times, we can come up with some type of agreement. Naturally, you're going to marry my daughter. Right. You're going to marry her. But in today's time, it might be, and this no offense, anonymous Hebrew, it might be an ass whooping. It could be anything. It could be buying me right. You see what I'm saying? You can buy me a Hummer for the family. It can be, the whole thing is the principle. The principle is.
Go ahead.
I'm just using that as an example that the 50 shekels of silver really wasn't the objective. It was the dishonor. And because we were a borrowed trade system, we use in our culture certain objects, even when you see us laying our hands on the ornaments or the vestments of the tabernacle. There was a spiritual system with our culture. So the exchange of the 50 shekels was really an exchange of energy. It didn't have nothing to do with cats is looking at the physical object. Oh, he raped his daughter and he gave 50 seconds to show. No, that's not what it was saying at all. So hallelujah.
Hallelujah. And to be specific. Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
I just wish I had this dishonor joint from Mulan. My kids be having me watching these cartoon movies. When they dragon say dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your cow. That's what that is, bro. Like that's what we talking about, bro. Real dishonor. Because now you're talking about if you love this woman, yeah, you're gonna do whatever you can now. And what you should have did, especially if your people raised you right, was come talk to her father. Come talk to her father. Like, and here's the funny thing: there is no law.
That's right.
There's no law that says you can't have sex with your betrothed wife once you paid the price of the dowry of the virgin. You just can't come in. Now, we prefer that you wait till the night of your consummation, but you will not be put to death for a sexual relationship with a betrothed woman that you have paid the dowry of the virgin. So why would you not do things the correct way? See what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense other than, and I think Sister Divina, with her amazingly brilliant mind, has said, degenerate minds. Your mind has to be so perverted and so degenerate at this point to even go here and say, oh, these people just want to go have sex with as many young girls. Make no mistake, that does exist. We're not going to act like there aren't men out there like this. But that's not what this law was about. Go ahead, more, my fault.
And on top of that, like, so you hear Mighty Hebrew talking about the 50 shekels, right? And you hear Anonymous say the term bridal price. Yeah. So this concept is consistent in Exodus and in Deuteronomy 22:28. Because in Exodus, it talks about the concept of enticing, being enticed by a man, and then having, like, you know what I'm saying, you marry the man, and he pays the bridal price, but it doesn't specify what the price is, right? You go to Deuteronomy 22:28, and it specifies that the bridal price, like the price for the virgin,
that's the precept. That's the precept.
Is the 50 shekels.
Yeah, and that's the precept right there, because Exodus, it doesn't give you the bride of the price until you get to Deuteronomy chapter 22:28, and then it lets you know the price is 50 shekels. That's what precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little mean. It's precepts by the way of the Torah Constitution, not the book of Judges.
Facts. And you get a double confirmation with that, because you get a law coming down in Horeb and a law coming down in the plains of Moab, right? And so with that, we can see that in both spots. In one spot, it says to entice. And then, like, so you got two verses there talking about to entice, and then the bridal price. And then in Deuteronomy 22:28 and 29, you get the manipulation, right? Or where it says lay hold in English, but again, my man showed that the first meaning was to manipulate, and with the figurative meaning was to use unwarrantably, right? So we have that, the manipulation, we have enticement, we have 50 shekels, we have bridal price. Same.
Right. Let's get back to it, because y'all got to hear this 3 joints. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And the word for wife is isha, right? So it can be woman, it can be wife, it can be female, it can be an adulteress. So they could have been married and what? It could have been a whole bunch. There could have been a whole bunch of stuff that word could fit, right?
Right.
So I'm not disagreeing. I'm trying to make sure I understand.
Right. That's fine. I mean, when someone says, "Oh, they made them wives," that's not rape. Okay, what is the basis of a marriage?
Well, so that's why I was saying. That's why I just looked at the word isha, because that word can be used a bunch of different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean wife. It can just be, it can just take women, right? Like, so, like,
wife,
clearly, like what you're talking about.
Right? Marriage is based. The core of marriage is sex. That's what it means. That's why in the story of Rebecca and Isaac took her into the tent and had sex with her, and she was his wife. Now, do I believe that women shouldn't have ceremonies? I'm not on that doctrine.
Now, she forgot to say the part that the bridal price was paid. Right?
We had wedding ceremonies and stuff too. When you look at the evolution of Israel, you'll see that you will have the dowry, then you will see that the men had a feast. Like, you have the head men or the head elders in our community, they will have their separate feasts on one side, and then the common people on the other side, you see dance and all that. You see all this throughout the scripture. If there's a brit or a contract of divorce in Deuteronomy chapter 24, 1-4, then we know there was a part, if you want to call it a contract, so to say, when you putting in that dowry and all that. The process of the mikdash is at hand, and we had wedding festivals too. So I don't know what they talking about.
That's what I mean. This is what she wants to keep pointing out. This is she got to paint us as these over sexually charged up men that just want to go and take women and knock them over their head and be cavemen, and not the men of the Most High, not the men who are actually being the protectors and the cultivators of the family.
Doctrine. I believe there should be a wedding ceremony. However, I know that if a woman has sex with a man, that's his wife. Whether, I'm sorry out there, people with boyfriends and girlfriends.
Gotcha. That would even be a bigger insult to injury, because it'd be a wedding ceremony and no 50 shekels paid. Like,
I don't know about all that.
You're spitting in my face.
Well, that's conjecture. All I know is they raped them because the scripture says it.
Well, no, I'm saying if you take them and they're raped and they're married, and I don't get the 50 shekels, like, man, and you take them away, like, yo, like, that's hella spit in my face. I would become a complainer, right? Kind of got you on that, right? But let's go back to Deuteronomy 22 and 28, because I think I got your perspective on that, right?
Yeah, let's go to that.
Because do I have it correct? Like, am I wrong anywhere?
Deuteronomy 22.
Okay, cool. Because I like how you said earlier how. Well, first and foremost, I want to clarify my perspective on Judges 21. First of all, I agree with you that the women were taken. It's not clear as to whether or not they were taken against their will, if they wanted to go, etc. So from my perspective, I don't know how all that was, right? Like, I don't know if it was a ceremony to where some young girls wanted to actually go off and elope. It's such, I can't call it, right? I don't know on that part. I don't know, but this is where I'm with Anonymous. Is at the very end of it, we know this, that, or it says this, is that every man was doing that which he saw was right in his own eyes, right? So for me, I'm not seeing like a thus saith the Lord kind of a thing here, saying it's okay, right? So this is why I say I wanted to get clarity on the Deuteronomy 22 concept, so I can fully understand what you're saying. So let me go there real quick.
Right, but let me just clear this up, because about the debate, this is all about the debate. He was making the point: does the Bible condone rape? Now hold on, it doesn't say is rape against the law in these instances. The Bible in that text condones rape, because they had the wives, they had sex with them, and nobody killed them in that story. So
okay, yeah, that's the other part I want to address. People doing wicked stuff in the Bible is not the Bible condoning it. It's the Bible actually showing you the validity of it by telling you the good, the bad, and the ugly. This concept that we see in other ancient texts, and I ain't gonna attack nobody else's belief system, but we see this constant context in this concept in other ancient texts where they only report most of the good, never the bad. This is what we call a truth test. This is one of the biggest truth tests of the Bible. The fact that it records the good, the bad, and the ugly. That does not mean it condones it. Why do we know it condones it? Because in that same book, the same last verse of that same book that she's talking about of Judges, it says that they did what was right in their own eyes. That's not in the eyes of the Most High. The Bible in itself is just a collection of books, a sefer, a collection of writings. Therefore, it can't condone or condemn from the perspective that she's trying to say. When we talk about does the Bible condone it, we're talking about does the law, does the Most High's will, does the Most High's thought process condone it?
Right. And when you look, it's just like if you're an author, you write a book, and in the book, you might express somebody got sexually violated. That don't mean that the book as a whole is condoning violating women sexually. You know what I mean? It's just giving you a story from an objective approach, not necessarily that they agree with it. Because the Torah totally stands against it. It's just like you see them trying to argue that the Bible condones homosexuality when it doesn't. Homosexuality, you get put to death. But there were incidents inside the scripture where these cases took place here and there. That don't mean that it was condoned. You see what I'm saying? It just
that was my other debate in that season. Because I only got to do 2 debates that season. I had to stop and take care of my son. The other debate I had was does the Bible condemn homosexuality? That's crazy that you brought that up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. And I know you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that at all, yo. I didn't know that at all. Again, this right here, this is not an attack. You know, when I come into this on any individual, this is everything to deal and stand on truth. And what I'm saying is our children, it's Israel all over the world. Our children live up to this culture. Our mothers, fathers, grandparents, et cetera, et cetera. So this is deeper than just having a doctrinal conversation. This is a blatant attack on the children of Israel to the point that try to make Israel show face in a form of dishonor. When all over the world, that's another thing that one has to do. Study the social behavior by the way of Hebrew anthropogenesis, meaning study the cultural expressions of Israelites throughout the world. And why don't none of their, like I'm over here in Africa, I've been to many Israelite villages, and over here, that's against the law. You get put to death doing something like that. So if you go to Africa and you study certain scattered remnants of tribes of Israel throughout Africa, within their social paradigm, rape is an abomination, and you'll get put to death if you rape somebody. So that alone also shows, you know, within the scope of the scripture being lived accordingly in different tribes that are Israelites, why do all their laws show that raping somebody is wicked and is abominable and worthy of death?
Exactly. I mean, I couldn't have said it best. And peace to the panel. I want to welcome to the panel the sister, the Ima. To some, she's your auntie. To some, she's your sister. To some, she's your mother. Sister Divania, how you doing, Queen?
Peace, brothers. How are you? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you great.
Oh,
Okay.
listen, listen. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hard work a week, coming home, clicked on to hear this absolute well-needed discussion. And you guys are breaking it down fantastically. And I'm sitting down, just enjoying it and agreeing with everything so far. I had a couple of things I wanted to say, but I'm gonna let the conversation keep flowing, and then I'll chime in if you guys let me.
Okay,
Thank you so much, man. You guys are awesome.
Hallelujah. You got the floor now if you want to say anything too. But if you want to chime in, you let us know.
Well, one thing we know about. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear echo.
Thank you. Well, one thing I've noticed throughout life is many people who many people, especially when it comes to the scriptures, right? They want to continue in their wickedness. So one of the ways they would do that, and yet at the same time, they want to proclaim that they love God and that they know the scriptures, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you will find that they tend to take the scriptures and they twist it just so it can fit their lifestyles and their wickedness, because now it gives that person, if it's a female, it gives her the right. Well, the Bible allows rape, so and all of that promiscuousness. So what I'm doing, I can be a thought and be righteous because the Bible says it's okay to be a thought. Rape is good. They try to twist that book to justify their wickedness. And that's what you see going on there, because I'm hearing Orthodox more reading the scriptures. And every time she responds, she's just responding from her degenerate mind, from how she wants to perceive it, so she can continue living her thoughtful life.
Okay.
And I'll pause there.
We're making that, you know what I'm saying? When we do around here, we let the sisters come and speak certain things that we can't say. Hallelujah. Because y'all not finna get me.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and press play. Shout out to the sister, man.
That is proof that it's condoned. They condoned it.
I got you.
Because even the other tribes are like, oh, come on, just let them have them. And then they just were fine. So you can't be like, well, the Lord, I'm not talking about the Most High. We're talking about, well, everything is the Most High, but I'm saying in that specific text, in that context, that is showing the Bible.
Wait a minute. If everything is the Most High, you know what? I ain't, hold on. I ain't even gonna do that yet.
Condoned it because the story is about them getting wives. They got their wives by rape, and then everybody went to their place and was chill. That's condoning rape. The Bible right there. That's a verse that condones rape.
Yeah, I still don't see rape.
Everybody said the same thing.
Let me ask you a question. Is anywhere in that text saying it's condemned? Just a yes or no?
No.
I said no, not at all. And I think you're making a viable debate point. I think if Nkosi stuck with what you were talking about the whole night, he would have had a better
But I
chance.
still don't see
But hold on a second, guys, right quick, because I got to lay it down here. But here's the thing that everybody's missing.
So I'd have roasted it.
The sister brought it up.
I'm not saying you wouldn't. I'm just saying you would have a better chance.
No, I'm not tripping off that. It is what it is. But what she's saying is, you got to look at what the word condone means. You guys are acting like he has.
It's not about that.
Yes,
we're not missing that. We're not missing condone. We're talking about rape. We're not talking about condone.
Y'all right.
We're not talking about that.
Real talk. Real talk. This is why I agree with Nkosi in the pod. Like, if Nkosi made that his central argument, like, because this is, again, me and Anonymous just agreed with him that they were doing what they saw was right in their own eyes, and nope.
Right. And so that's the brother in Nkosi, the brother I debated, where he says that. And so we kind of go back and forth here. I found this because I've been searching this out while we was working on this, and I viewed the transcripts. I want y'all to hear this while everybody is still wide awake to hear this, because I'm through with this. I'm going to start pointing out the psychosis of this nonsense, right? So I'm going to fast forward a little bit, and I'll come back to here if y'all want to hear this part of the conversation. This is really, I ain't got no issues with Nkosi because he rocks with Lex and them, and that's kind of that's the thing that they came up with. But for somebody like Nepal, who's supposed to be believing in the Bible, this is psychotic. Now listen to this. I want y'all to hear this. All right, hold on.
Just don't mislead people. That's all I ask.
Go ahead, Anonymous. Anonymous. Anonymous.
I will pick up the baton. So,
for the record, my jointed board with nobody running. I know how y'all crazy. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? We ain't having it.
Okay.
Real
Yeah,
quick,
go
sis.
on and talk about that precept.
So real quick, sis, what is the dowry for virgins?
Okay, I thought we were going to address what the brother was just talking about.
We are. It's in Exodus 22:17.
Yeah, Exodus 22:16, he said.
And so the next verse deals with exactly what I just said.
Yes, and as I said to you, there are 3 ways to get a wife. There is.
All right, y'all ready, right? Y'all ready?
Enticing, there is betrothal, and there's rape.
I know y'all heard that, right?
So she just said she's reiterating the point. She just said, as I said to you before. So Anonymous he just skipped over a part where she said it before for her to say it the second time.
This is the second time that she's saying this. I'm gonna run it back for you one more time.
I said to you, there are 3. Yeah, Exodus 22:16, he said.
And so the next verse deals with exactly what I just said.
Yes, and as I said to you, there are 3 ways to get a wife. There is enticing, there is betrothal, and there's rape.
Got it, sis. So we're.
Do you know what's going on in your mind for you to say that rape condones marriage?
Wow.
That's nowhere in the Torah. That's nowhere in the Torah.
No, that's in her world.
Nowhere.
That's in her world. We have to remember that. This is in her world. It's okay. This is why every channel she goes to, she ends up marrying the host. She don't give a shit about the brothers in the chat, who some of them are much more worthy. She don't care about them. She goes to every panel and she just wants to thought with the host. We're going to keep it real. We are in the days of revelation. Call it apocalypse. That's what it means to reveal. So let's call it for what it is. In her mind, how she behaves, it's okay. She sees the scriptures as making her righteous. So she's righteous in her own eyes. So, listen, I'm so glad you guys are doing this. I'm so glad you guys are doing this. I'm mute.
Yeah. Anybody else want to talk about Oh yeah.
This goes back to her foundation, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you understand the different individuals or different organizations she's been a part of, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna call their names out, but she said it plenty of times, right? And these individuals had an issue within the community about the same doctrine, right? Not being clear, not being understood how it should be understood. So for her coming from that teaching, respecting those elders, if you really pay attention, you can understand exactly where it's coming from, right? And then for her not to pay attention to our language and stick with, what she was taught instead of being corrected, you see where we at now. You see the type of support that she gives and for who she gives it to. It's a part of her life, bro. Unfortunate.
Right. We got the brother from FOP in. Let me get him in. To the brother Sharshan. How you doing, man?
Hey, Shalom. Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna say something. Hold on.
All right, thanks, man. Now I do want to. I'll wait till the brother come in. But I want, what I'm saying, I want to address one part.
Okay. I just wanted to say something real quick, and then I'm gonna jump off because Sarnetta and Nepal slanted my PowerPoint on their Sarnetta TV. I wanted to add a few things real quick. Shalom, mighty Hebrew, Most High, bless Lord, and everybody on the panel.
Shalom, shalom, my Lord.
The woman, she definitely don't know the Bible, and she's retarded. And I done proved this over and over. The word lay hold, which there in Deuteronomy 22 and I believe it's 29, that word in the Hebrew means seduce. And the precept for it is Exodus 22 and 15. The verses go hand in hand. Rape and seduction in the Bible go hand in hand. I got a PowerPoint on my channel called FOP Israelite School. It's called Shawsham Destroys Sinetta and the Paul Rape Doctrine. I did it, and I challenged Elder Tahar years ago in GMS to debate me on it. He wouldn't. So this is why she confused. Verse 29, it was seduction. It wasn't rape. And I proved that many times. Now, if you go to Isaiah 53, there's another Hebrew word called lakwash. It means the exact same thing, but it means to lay hold, it means to seize, it means to force. This is in Isaiah 53. I think it's the first verse. The Hebrew word, when you can look it up here, right? It means the exact same thing as lay hold of, right? This is talking about, well, some for Messianics and non-Messianics, the ones who believe is talking about Christ and some believe is talking about somebody else. But if you jump to Isaiah 53, go to, I believe it's the very first verse where it says he was taken. That word means to lay hold. It means to seize. It means force. It means everything that it means everything that tafas means in Deuteronomy 22. Now, the only difference is the verse lakwash in Isaiah 53 also means to marry or to get married or to take a wife. So I said, now, if that was rape in Deuteronomy, why wouldn't they use that Hebrew word lakwash? Because if it was to somebody to be married or raped or take some money, it would say that, but it don't. So I challenged her on that. She would never respond. So the woman, she's just out of her mind.
I'm gonna give you back up with the scriptures to prove this for you, because I don't want people to just think you're running our mouth. So
yeah, go to Isaiah.
I'm already on it for you, King. We brought this out before. This lakak, right? And so when you look at this, you get into this word, like he said, and this can be used. I got this short
for marriage.
It can be used for marriage, right? To take to fetch. And see, here's the problem too. Be careful when y'all look at outline of biblical usage and strong. If you ain't qualified to do this, don't do this. Because now you need to understand the difference between the qual stem and the fall stem, the pual stem, the hispel stem, all of this. It's best thing for you to do if you're not really learned in the language. Go to the actual definitions and then read it within context in the Bible verse. Okay? Not get up here and start talking about, see, he seized her. Nah, because you could be using it wrong. And so we're gonna
now if you want me to send you the Hebrew picture where it says seduce in the Hebrew, I use a Hebrew dictionary from the 1800s. I can send the Mighty Hebrew or any of y'all can share it, and it'll show you the same word she claiming that's the posh. It says seduce. See, she didn't want to do that and show it on side of the TV when they were slandering my PowerPoint. They only showed like 45 minutes of my PowerPoint. They wouldn't get to the part when you digging in the Hebrew because I was cutting it off from the beginning. But when you get to the end of the PowerPoint, all through the Hebrew, there's no way around what she's saying. She's straight cut, and she wouldn't show none of it.
Here's a proof. Here's a proof point. All right, just so you can hear it. It's Genesis 11:29. Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarah or Sarai. The name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the father of Milcah and the father of Iscah. They not running around raping these women and just snatching them up. That just mean they married them. Keep going, King.
But yeah, Mighty Hebrew.
Dang, my Lord.
Hey, can I send you that image of the Hebrew word seduce in the Hebrew and that word the posh that they're using? I'm gonna send it to you so you can show it to everybody on the panel. Because I'm out of town on vacation. I'm in Texas. Okay. So I want to jump off because I'm about to do some things for my family.
All right, send it to me and I'll send it to Anonymous Hebrew.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep listening though, but I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Dang, hallelujah. All
right, shalom, Lord. All right, most high bless everybody.
Most high bless. Right.
Jack,
so,
and something I wanted to say real quick. You know how you know this is not true? You know, this is a GMS doctrine. You know, this is a GMS doctrine. No disrespect to Elder Tahar, but we're dealing with a doctrinal difference here. If you look at Israel all over the world, the only ones that believe in that thought is GMS. So in that retrospect, you could tell that was a foreign idea that developed by way of a cultic mind. You understand what I'm saying? Because if that be the case, then it would be other variants throughout the world that have a similar thought. You see what I'm saying? Like you should be able to go, let's say, to the Bahamas, and there's a school that may not have been connected to GMS, and they Israelites, and they have that idea. Or you could shoot over, let's say, to Nigeria, and they may have that idea. No Israelite communities anywhere from Torah only to Messianic, nowhere did any Israelite schools believe in that. That is something that came from a One West Splinter group, in that retrospect, GMS.
And the illest part is you can ask her and she'll tell you that she once studied with GMS. Right? So this is not just us making this up. She's on record multiple times saying that she dealt with GMS. So when you understand that, bro, that's why I'm telling you, like, we got to get away from this nonsense. And there's a reason why certain people will want that narrative to come out, because their goal is to put a quote unquote, as we say around here, you try to put a whole lifestyle on us, right? You try to put a whole lifestyle on everybody who's sitting back taking care of their family. Rape and molestation and all of that does not enter into the frame of thought of Israelites. That is disgusting, right? That goes against our whole national, as the brother Mighty Hebrew would say, the whole national constitution. So for her to say that rape, listen to this, rape is a way for you to get married in her mind. That's a psychosis. That's someone we got to get help for. That's someone, this is supposed to be an advocate, and you're sounding like a rape apologist.
Even when you go, and you know how the other brother said earlier that we did things, as they would say in Swahili, pole pole, very slow. If you go into the 20th chapter, to the 21st chapter of Debarnium or Deuteronomy, you will see when we went to war and we took captives, even with the women that we took captive, it was a process that woman became our wife, our wives, or our nashim, by the way of, shaving their hair, letting their nails grow, letting her mourn for a certain period of time for her father and mother. And then from there, where it says Tate is speaking of marriage, meaning the marriage ceremony. There was a process of things that we did. The way they're making it seem like we just ran up and just took some pussy. No, nowhere in the Tanakh does it say that. That is something that they're inserting by the way of feminism.
Now,
Ooh,
I want to tell
add to that?
Yes, sis, go ahead, please. Please.
Peace to you, brother Hebrew. How are you? I didn't even call your name and shout you out, my blessed brother. Peace to you and your family out there in Tanzania.
Shalom, shalom, sister. How you doing?
Shalom, my brother. I'm well, thank you. And would you mind sending me what the brother sends you? Would you mind shooting that to me in my email?
I'm glad I got you. I'm glad you just said that, because I'm gonna go look right now and see if he sent it.
I really appreciate that. And I just lost track. Can you guys put me back on track?
We was talking about the Deuteronomy 22 concept of, even when you get like a girl from another nation and in the process of becoming her husband.
Yes, and that's something we're gonna talk about. One day I would love for us to get in a discussion, even if it's off, it's not live, in a backward discussion, because what the Most High has been showing me lately is all these people, even when it says Moses married an Egyptian, do you know technically, according to the book, she was an Israelite? But if you notice, when you read Chronicles 11, right? It's talking about all the men of David's army. The scripture tells you David never had any non-Israel in the army. He was the only one that everybody who was in the military, they were Yasharel. There were no foreigners in our army when David ruled. So when you go to and you read Chronicles, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, sister. I was just telling Anonymous Hebrew, it's in your inbox now, along with Orthodox More. He just sent it to me. I send it to y'all.
Okay. So at this time, you guys remember how Isaac and Rebecca, the process when she brought to him, what did she have to do? The scripture tells you she had to mourn. First of all, when the man takes the woman, when she finally moves in with him after he's got his place, and she has to, what did she do? She had to shave off all her hair. Maybe she had, I don't know, some kind of, maybe she had a weave on, whatever, right? She had her long nails. Maybe they were fake nails, right? But she had to remove her nails. She had to remove all that hair on her head, and you got to start back scratch. And we don't sleep according to the law. The man, you don't sleep with that woman on that day. What did she do? It said she mourned. The man gives the woman the mourning, 30 days of mourning, because here the woman is living with her mother and father, and it's not you're leaving your mother and father. So she gets 30 days of mourning. She gets that cleansing process, removing her fake hair and her fake nails and all that stuff. And you're starting back from scratch. And it was 30 days later, then it says, then Isaac went into Rebekah. So even all of that, the Most High even said, yo, give that woman, she just mourning, she's probably missing her parents, growing up, living with them, right, just all her life, and now she's leaving them. So it's that form of missing. It's like people going away, you're going on a trip. I've left my kids, going to Florida for a couple of days because I had to do business, and they're crying in the airport. It's like, you were going to see each other in a couple of days, but you still, that crying, because the person is going away. So that's that same sentiment. You allow the woman to cry, you allow her to cleanse herself for them 30 days and get rid of all the fake stuff. And now she's coming under the covenant, the holy covenant. So, that's something else. Like all the little details of how the Most High approves and disapproves, it's there for those who are really seeking the truth. I just wanted to add that.
Hallelujah. And I'm gonna go into that because I wanted to address this. So here's the other thing people will do for you. Now we're gonna teach y'all how we able to chop a lot of these people up, and that's why they cuss us out and yell at us, because we see these things early. So what they will do is they'll try to take you to Numbers chapter 31, right? And they'll say, see, they told you to take all the young girls, and they'll take that to say that all these men wanted to do was grab young girls and have sex with them and rape them, right? Promoting us just snatching women. But now here's the process. Now, people, you may not like this, but this is the process. When you go to war, I'll start at verse 10. When you go to war against your enemies, and Yah, your Elohim, delivers them into your hands, and you take captives, if you notice among the captives, watch this, a beautiful woman. So this is not a beautiful young girl. This is a beautiful woman, and are attracted to her. You may take her as your wife. Watch this. Yeah, this NIV. I knew this had to be NIV because the KJV says something different. And I'm going to show you why I stopped right there, because I want to open this part up.
Hey, when you're done with that, we got to go back to the NIV too, because they try to use that on the H.O.K.
Yeah, they try to play. So they try to play with the NIV. Now, one day I'm going to teach y'all the difference and why y'all need to be careful the type of versions of Bible that you read. But you got to understand, one, you're reading a word for word, and the other, you're reading a thought for thought, right? These are the two basic understandings. And when you're reading a word for word book, sometimes things get lost in the thought or the concept of the thing. And it can happen vice versa as well. So you got to be very careful when you get to certain things like this. Now watch this. I'm going to deal specifically verse 11. And seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and hast a desire unto her. Now see, that make you think he lusted. Right? But let's open up this word desire. Let's look at this. And once again, I'm keeping this easy. Now understand, this is not chazak, the rape word, right? This is a whole nother word, right? Because there's no Zion there, right? This is a scene. Watch this. When you look at this, this means to love, to be attached to long for. This does not just mean, oh, you saw somebody and you was like, bruh, she got buns, I'm on it. No, it's not that. You saw her, she was beautiful, and you loved her. You became attached to her. Now, how does that happen? How do you actually love somebody that you just saw? You can't. That means you went through a courting process. You went through a process of actually getting to know this woman. You're not just seeing this woman. Now, there are situations where we see that you pay the dowry of the virgin and situations like that. But this is actually becoming attached to this woman. That is the concept. That doesn't mean, oh, you just went down, they lined them up. You think about chattel slavery. You line up all the slave girls and I want that one. That is not how that worked at all. That is not how this worked in our society at all. Love does not happen on sight. I know Western Christianity and Western thought makes you think that, but love, attachment, and longing for someone, having a longing for someone, that does not happen overnight. And if it does, you have not really been taught what love is. So I wanted to get that point out the way because, so here's what you say. So now, once that happens, and that thou wouldest have her to be thy wife, then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails, and she shall put the raiment of her captivity off. That means now she removes the garments that are not those of Israel, because now she's becoming a daughter of Israel. Understand that. She becomes now a daughter of Israel, Basi, of Zion, or Yasrael, right? And now she removes the captivity from off her raiment of captivity, and shall remain in the house and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that, thou shalt go into her and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife. Understand that. Now you do have a situation if you don't have a delight in her. Then thou shalt let her go whither she will. But thou shalt not sell her for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. Right now, you can't just take her and just send her away. Nah, she's not your merchandise. Remember, she wants to tell you she's your merchandise, she's your property. That's not how this works, fam. None of this works like that. We have to get away from this nonsense of wanting to destroy what the Bible says in order to make yourself look, feel, or seem right. More. Is there anything else you want me to bring out with the video? Because I'm about to shut that down and we're just going to conversate on this for a little bit more.
No, not really.
Yeah, I think we covered that. There's a lot more that we will chop up and start to bring out over time. But and understand, this is just the beginning. This is just first step at we finna expose wicked rape doctrine until it stops. Rape doctrine will not be allowed in this community. Y'all gonna have so much ammunition, whether you believe in the Bible or not, that as soon as you hear rape doctrine, you're gonna be able to say, nah, you wicked, you nasty. There's something wrong with your brain. We need to get you some help. Right? We are no longer gonna play. We are going to start to be the wiser nation. We are going to start to show the nations the light of our rising. And if you cannot do that, then I don't know what to tell you. If you cannot come to the table and have proper conversations about this book, I do not know what to tell you, because we have taken the time, most of us, to now really read this, to become somewhat proficient. Some of us are deeper and been in the language longer. Some of us haven't, but we are all now moving and growing to the point where we can say what you have seen on the House of Consciousness and all these other places that are trying to tear the Bible down is not a representation of what it truly means to be an Israelite.
Hey, real quick, is it okay if I play a quick bit of expert commentary on Napaz's 3 different versions of marriage?
Got it, King.
Got you.
Let me stop.
3 of these things belong together. 3 of these things are kind of the same, but 1 of these things just doesn't belong here. And now it's time to play our game. It's time to play our game. Okay, now look at there, and we got a hammer.
Yeah, fam. One of these things doesn't belong, fam. I'm just saying. One of these things does not belong here, fam.
Oh, shit. I mean, that's what it is, bro. That's where we at. That's where we at. That's where we at, bro. One of these things is not like the other, man. Hey, look, y'all hold it down for a couple of minutes. I gotta go check on the kids real quick, man. I'll be right back. Y'all got it.
Yeah, so all praises to the Most High. What I'm digging about this is we got 2 elders on the panel who are Torah and Tanakh only, fam. On panel with people who are messianic, and I myself also rock with the Quran, right? And all of us, when we read the Torah, we're reading the same exact thing, coming to the same exact conclusion. That's either because because we're all seeing the same thing, or we're all having the same delusion. But again, I submit that one of these things is not like the other.
Forgive me for laughing. that was freaking hilarious. That's priceless.
I'll praise it to the most.
So you know what's striking to me, what puzzled me, besides all the antics of her antics, is, okay, let's throw reality aside and say she's telling the truth, right? Like you're watching a movie, right? Suspension of disbelief, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She claims she's so much into the Most High, right? Now, what would possess the person if you were really into the scriptures? What would possess you to go and choose your current quote unquote husband, who is not a Torah believer, who actually curses the Most High? That in itself is an anomaly.
Well, maybe here's something, because like, so on the last stream that they had, sister, where they were actually talking about this rape being mitigated in the Bible concept. So I never went and said that he, out of one side of his mouth, he went and said that none of us Hebrews are walking this Bible out 100%. We're twisting this whole thing, and that GMS when he's out the other side of his mouth, he said that GMS was the only one keeping it 100 with the scrolls. I.e., he was saying that their lay hold doctrine is the proper understanding, and we're denying that concept. We're denying that it's the proper understanding.
Okay, so then you ask them, okay, even man's law, who is very much beneath the Most High's law, even man's law tells you rape is against the law. So however they want to take it, the carnal sense or the spiritual sense, it's still against the law. So why are they still trying to convince, again, degenerate minds?
It's a fantastic question, because it's either being done on purpose or it's not being done on purpose.
Exactly.
And what I'm saying is there's no way you have to force these scrolls to say something other than what they're saying here.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pigeonhole the thing. You have to shoehorn the thing.
Mm-hmm. And when they pigeonhole, they pigeonhole with lies. It's not like they're saying, okay, look what it says, this is what the law says, like Anon brought out earlier. You're going straight to the book of Judges, where we had no laws, where we were doing a lot of treacherous things. This was during even the time of Ruth. Reuben had his territory.
Mm-hmm.
All the Israel, they had their territory on the West Bank. And then Judah, Simeon, the other, they had their territory on the East Bank of the river of the Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
But they, like the scripture says, they did not get rid of all the pagan worshiping elements. They were supposed to, okay, now this land is yours, you done kick everybody out. But what did they do? Tell you, some of them, they still saved some of the bad guys. It's like, somebody from another nation, like a lot of us are doing today. Yeah, man, I got friends who are white and I got friends who are Chinese. When the Most High never told us to hate anybody. He told us to hate evil. So we're not supposed to be going around, oh, I hate white people, I hate Chinese, I hate no.
Facts. Say that again, sis.
Hey, say that part.
I'm sorry?
Say that again, because I think we're missing this as a nation. Like, say that again.
Yes. God is a God of love. We are supposed to be a nation of love. God never told us to hate other nations. As a matter of fact, the opposite. He said, if we were to do wrong things to the other nations, he said, I'm going to get you too. Just like if you do harm to an Israelite, he says, you do harm to another nation, you got to come to me, because we are supposed to be righteous. We are supposed to be living that way, and we are supposed to be the example. I mean, like I said, the veil is thick. That veil that the scripture, the Most High talks about, that veil is thick. It's so thick they cannot see the truth. That's what was Pharaoh's problem. When they try to make it look like, and God hardens Pharaoh's heart. It's not Pharaoh. Some people say Pharaoh didn't even get a chance to change his mind because God hardened his heart. No, look at the Hebrew word and understand what was going on. The Most High tells you, that's your heart. That's your conviction. And if you're doing this, especially against my children, he says, I'm going to hold you to your conviction. Like he said in Genesis, what did he say about the tree of knowledge? He says, let's go down and confuse them so that way, what? The wicked don't get to reach their hands out and make it back into the garden, because it's like, yo, you have done so much wickedness, you ain't getting back in. I'm not going to show you my understandings for you to get back in, because you got some debt to pay and your heart is wicked. And they're not seeing the scriptures like you say, Orthodox more. Like those who are really trying to walk the truth and understand the truth, they're not there. If we're going straight ahead, let's say, if we're walking down a straight line, their thing starts to arc before they even take one step. Their first step, their foot is twisting to the right or left. Actually to the left.
Man, go in, see. I'm gonna share a picture. I'm gonna give a quick. Let me do this real quick. I'm gonna do two things. Hold on.
My coach. No sweat.
All right, so that's my quick disclaimer. I ain't finna share nobody information. I'm just share a picture. I'm gonna say this real quick. These are the views of A9. This is not the views of the panel or the guests on the panel.
I'll probably back this 100%, but it's okay.
I just want to clear my elders of this. They didn't even know I was gonna do this, but I'm gonna let y'all know why we gotta start having these conversations. Right now, I love Judah. He's a good, I love Judah. I believe that his heart is in the right place most times, but he's extremely gullible at times. The other one, Rob and the pod, these is demons. These is wolves in sheep clothing. It is what it is. Now, the reason I'm pointing this out is because these are supposed to be the Torah knights. They're supposed to be the Torah teachers. But they allow this woman to come on here and tell you all the time that the Bible mitigates or condones rape. And then says, well, the brothers may not agree with me, but we can agree. No, I cannot agree with you. If you lying on the scrolls to the point where you saying the Bible mitigates or condones rape, do better, Judah, because you don't even believe that. You don't believe that the Bible mitigates or condones rape. So why have you not given a teaching to your so-called congregation to prove that? Why are you sitting there with Jezebel, Ahab looking like the two sons of Belial? Because you clout chasing. We getting too late in this thing for you to give up your walk or give up your focus on the Torah to allow this woman to lead us astray, to lead people astray, to lie and play with people's brain to make innocent women and children think that the Bible makes a mitigation or condones rape. Hey, you better do better. That's why you on there with your drawers out and your partner on here vomiting on live internet. If you have not figured out yet that the Most High hand is against you, I pray to God that you find out soon, because it's going to get worse. Do better, fam. Yo, that's my rant. I ain't going to cook him. I ain't going to cook him too bad. And like I said, especially the two elders on the panel, I know that that's not there. They don't come at Judah or Rob or Nepal like that. So I'm not coming at them. I want to make that clear. Now, if more want to stand by that, he can, but that's my statement. That's Anon's statement. Because y'all like to put my name and my all that in your mouth and in your videos. Do better, fam. The three amigos.
Yeah, man. I want to slightly change my position. I don't agree 100%. I agree about 95%. The 5% I disagree with is I believe whatever demonic activity is working on the pod and Rob is also working on Judah, right? And so I'm praying right now for all three of them, in the sense to where I don't think that any one of them are I feel all of them got good hearts and they're sincerely wrong on a whole bunch of stuff right now. And if I was them, I would want somebody to be praying for me and want to leave the door open for me to be righteous or whatnot, right? So I'm gonna do the same thing for them, because Like I said, I would want that for myself. But I will stipulate this: like, I was on that panel and I saw a good friend of mine who was unfortunately molested when she was a child. She got disrespected on that panel by Nepal, and her molestation was minimized. I went on ISUPK a couple of years ago and let the whole world know I was molested when I was a child. And Judah spoke on the fact that, like, I shouldn't be rocking with SVDL. I should be on their side of things because I was molested. And I'm here to say there's no way in hell that I'll ever be on the side of a rape apologist, being that I was molested as a child. There's just no way, shape, or form. Like, so, sis, Devani, I want to ask you a question. Because Nepal says this concept and I can't wrap my mind around it. So as a woman, I want to see if there's something that you can see in it that I'm not catching as a man. So Nepal says on the one hand that she is a victim apologist and a victim's advocate and a women's advocate. On the other side of her mouth, she says that rape is a viable form of marriage and says that it's viable within the scrolls of the Most High. Do those go together, or are those antithetical in your mind?
It's like oil and water, could never mix.
Yeah, that's how I felt, and like it felt like all the way off and whatnot. So, Judah, I just want to let you know, fam. Like, yeah, if you have a thought in your head, bro, that I should be standing on the side of a rape apologist as someone who was molested, understand that thought didn't come from the Most High, bro. There's no way in the world it came from the Most High. And so I'm pleading. When I heard that, bro, my heart broke, because you are at the precipice. You are at the edge of a precipice that you do not want to fall off of, bro. There is nothing about the H.O.K. or Nepal or any kind of clout you can get from being on the H.O.K. If you want to be on it, handle it, fam. I'm not mad at you, bro. Do what you do. Do what you do. But like, the Torah Knights is now turning into the Korah Knights, to where it's a full-on rebellion against what the Torah actually stands for.
Right.
You can't be backing rape apologists, and you can't be backing the concept of vicarious rape. Vicarious rape. Talking about you're going to have your sister raping someone else's wife. And then saying, oh, it's just YouTube. I didn't mean it. Nah, fam. You don't get to say that you're a Torah teacher, claim to be a Levite, and back rape apologists and the concept of vicarious rape when you know it's not in the scrolls, fam. And then tell me I'm supposed to be on your side, bro. Please, I'm Judah, I'm begging you, don't make me have to deal with that. I'm asking you as a brother, fam, come back to the side of the Most High. Teshuvah, fam. Turn around, bro. Turn around, bro. Because if you don't, bro, the road you're going down, fam, it's fire and brimstone coming from the sky, fam. It's the Most High raining fire from Himself on you, fam. And none of us want to see that, fam. We want to see you be the Torah teacher it's within you to be, fam. That the community wants you to be, fam. And with that, I'll get off my soapbox.
I have to, you said something earlier, a few minutes ago when you started off, that I will respectfully disagree with you with. When you said that you believe they're good and you're going to still pray for them and all that. Myself personally, I disagree with that now, because that it falls under the same, what we were brought up, our grandparents, our parents and us, we were brought up as children in that generation, pray for the world. So I remember I always used to pray for that type of person. I love happiness. I love to see people get along. So I always used to pray to the world until the Most High checked me on that a couple of years ago. And He said, what are you doing praying for the world? That's why the evil is going to keep going on, because not only are you praying for good people, but you're praying for the bad people too. You do not pray for the world. So I had to now curb myself when I do my prayers now. I say, Father, you know the righteous. I pray for them, those who are going through hell right now, those who are, whatever situation they're going through, Father, you know their hearts, and I pray for them. I don't call out individual names anymore. No, no, no. I don't have that power to do that, because it's not like these are people who just got into the scriptures and they're misunderstood and they're just speaking like if they are, they're speaking without understanding. We're not talking about that. We're talking about people who has been actively preaching and teaching the scriptures, doing this wicked and teaching against the scriptures. So for me, I respect to you, I will not call them good, and I will not pray for them. My prayers that goes out to the righteous ones who are seeking truth and want to walk the right path, automatically it will go to them if their hearts are going that way. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, there's that,
I
Judah.
hope that made sense.
My Torah on the elder is telling me to to back off, fam, lest I turn into a pillar of salt. So I'm not gonna do that, fam. I'm not gonna be no pillar of salt for nobody.
What do you mean by that?
No, like, so you're saying so I'm looking like you're saying like don't worry about the wicked, right? Like, so in the council, like when Lot and his wife were fleeing Sodom and Gomorrah, right? His wife turned around and turned into a pillar of salt. Like, she was told not to turn around, she turned around. She faced the wickedness and got turned into a pillar of salt. And I always tell people, like, she had daughters in that city, and that's probably why she heard the screams when I probably, probably turned around because of that kind of stuff, right? And you're giving me good advice. You're saying, hey, man, don't get caught up over your brother. You know what I'm saying? You're saying that you care about him, that you love him, all the kind of things. You think he's a good person, good at heart, or whatnot. But don't get caught up don't be righteous getting caught up for the wicked.
Exactly. That's good advice. Exactly. That's yeah.
I can't even knock that advice, sis.
Right, I agree, man. Let's do this, man. I am so glad that everybody came and kicked it with me, came and kicked it with the brother Moore. Shout out to Moore, Prince Star, aka the Mighty Hebrew, Sister Devanya, Brother Star that came from FOPE, Brother Yashar that was in the building. Shout out to all the rest of the tank. If y'all do want to pull up, man, I'm gonna hold it open for another 5 minutes. But in the process, I want to give everybody a chance to say their closing thoughts on the situation. I want to give people a chance to get on and go live, and maybe if they want to respond, if they want to change the subject. I know y'all ain't necessarily big on the Bible around these parts, but I do appreciate Swab for letting us come in and have this conversation, because we do need to start to focus on the proper narrative. Ladies first, Sister Devanya.
Ouch. So we're ending. You're ending the stream?
I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down, because we try to keep it around 3 hours. That's what Swab has said. We try to, unless we're doing an all-day stream, we want to try to keep it around 3 hours. So I want to try to honor that, because we kind of a guest in this house.
Okay. Well, let me say thank you so much for doing this panel. I think we should be doing this more often. You know, they have their different panels where they don't speak about the Bible. So why not have one channel, established, where those who do believe in the scriptures, and especially the Torah, can come on and have discussions like this. So thank you for having that. Orthodox More, awesome. Thank you for bringing up that exchange, because we need to hear these things more and more. And thank you, Prince Shah, for coming on. Thank you, my brother out there in Tanzania, Mighty Hebrew. You guys are awesome, and I'm telling you, I'm like, my heart is filled right now just to come home and hear this conversation. And thank you for letting me on the panel, guys.
Honor and pleasure always, sis.
Always. Oh man, my bad. Nah, I wasn't trying to throw you under the bus, bro. I'm trying to be respectful. Swab does not have a problem with us talking about the Bible, but I want to be respectful to the audience as well. That's all I'm saying. We had conversations and trying to throw the brother under the bus, not at all. Brother Orthodox Moore, go ahead, and then we're gonna turn it over to Buddy Hebrew. Go ahead, man.
Shout out to Anonymous Hebrew for hosting this much needed show. Shout out to Swat for letting us go live on the channel. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Solar for letting us re-air the old debate on the YouTube Streets channel. And shout out to everyone that came on the panel and had something to say, because everything was fantastic. I thought it interwove together and built upon itself in a very fantastic way. And sis, thank you. I appreciate you for your advice and whatnot as well, and for your stance and whatnot. I would definitely take that into my consideration, because you know what, it ain't no rest for the wicked, fam. So I'm not mad at you, sis. I actually like that advice. That's something my father used to tell me anyway. So I would definitely sleep on that, and meditate with that. Shout out to the Mighty Hebrew for coming through. I mean, like I said, man, I thought it was a beautiful thing that we had a demonstration, that we had Messianic Hebrews, we had Torn Tanakh only Hebrews, and we have myself rocking with the Quran and whatnot as well. And we're all looking at the Torah, seeing the same thing the same way, and that's a testament to the brilliance of how the Most High put it together. That ain't none of us. That's the Most High's words right there. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate everybody for the energy, for the words, the thoughts. And please understand that there's no way, shape, or form you can fix your face to say that the Bible condones rape, that the words of the Most High condones rape. If you're going to say that, you got a scriptural fight on your hands. We will pull up, fam.
Thanks.
When this tank's on the ground, I bet you won't make a sound. Bet you won't make a sound. With that, I appreciate the brother Anon for letting me come through, add my piece to this whole thing, and look forward to hear what the brother Mighty Hebrew has to say. Shalom, fam.
Yeah, shalom. Mighty Hebrew, you there? Mighty Hebrew, you there, Lord? My brother must have had to step away. He is several hours away from us, so I will go ahead and close it out. If he comes back in before I do, then I will let him say his piece, man. Really, it's really quite simple, man. We are building a new community, bro. We are building a new community where we can have the conversations, we can agree to disagree, and we can debate respectfully and turn up even if we need to on the things that we need to debate about. Right? All of this other stuff, though, all of this, you operating without impunity, running around lying, creating false narratives, and not wanting to be held accountable unless they come to your platform where you can now host and be disrespectful and shut people down and not let them have the conversations. Yeah, we're not doing that no more. What we will do is continue to fight for the rights of people to be transparent, be who they are, and hopefully us as believers, we can try to be the light that we have been called to be. Right? And we can find a way to cohabitate and coexist and build and really be the light to the world that we need to be. But other than that, make no mistake, fam, y'all keep talking. Y'all want it. Y'all will get it. We have no problems going into the Bible. We have no problems debating whatever it is we're going to debate. We are part of the Argument League. We're part of SBDL. We are part of this community. And we are going to stand up and be counted. That just is what it is. And you keep messing with them tanks, like you said, you will get ran over. You mess around, catch a round off the tank, and that'll be the end of your debate career. So it is what it is, man. Oh, got you. It is what it is, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Peace and love to everybody, man. We're going to go ahead and close it out and let this brother do his thing.
Yeah, you know, word on the street wasn't going to be no season 4. So you already know what it is. Shout out to Minister Howell.
Yeah.
No, we had to spin the block again.
And when the season actually starts, got these niggas rescheduling the beats. You know what I'm saying? Bringing forth advanced PowerPoints when they debates.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I thought you was ready. The preseason and then the off-time was like, let's debate.
Yeah.
That's why you're supposed to be preparing now. It's a long season. This is why I always tell you. Let's debate.
This where the best of the best collide and go edit on the internet. We coming for each other neck. You want me to show some respect to your scholarship? Let's debate. I hope you ready for war. You doing all the talking, but don't want no smoke. What did you come in here for? You know what we got going on. If you really with it, let's debate. Solar vision is the only vision in the universal telescope. Everyone else gotta go. Intelligent level, it ain't even close. Let's debate. I ain't scared of none of y'all. I ain't backing up for none of y'all. Going in on every one of y'all. I want the Draco. I'm about to let 100 off. Let's debate. This where the stars shine bright. It's time to decide where your side of the line is. This is our life, so please be reminded. Everything you say, we will rewind it. Highlight your soundbite when we find it. Hindsight, your eyesight is not blinded. My life and timeline, a real diamond. To go find you someone to go sign. It's on site, you low life with no light. And I don't write to go with your neck bow tight. And there's no light with every day they go by. And I don't mind being the guy that you don't like. In high demand, I supply the web. I'm a fly guy, no spider web. You see a flight of stairs, there's an idol there. They won't work for life, but they'll hire there. But I'd rather listen to my higher self. Meditate and take me to a higher realm. At the education board diagram, give me funny feelings in my diaphragm. And the medication full of fire ants. Council culture, counsel your entire count. Lead by example, they responding to me, reading every letter like an eye exam. My descendants singing tired hymns. My ideas cry from the highest tier. Drug addicts weeping, that's the highest tier. But there's a need for knowledge, that's when I appear. And they do not teach this in college. They make us an offer and see we compete with the scholars. But we are not bothered by mammon. It's all in the fan. Just imagine the famine affecting your family. Global pandemic infecting your family. Satellite image can't pick up humanity. Newer technology, purpose abolish the growing the flowers organically. It's where the scientists intersect with the Zionist intellect and the dialect. Like upgrade biotech. And we ain't even read your bio yet. You wait up there, nose bleeding. You to make it to the postseason. I beat you, it was a close neither. Now I'm back to hunt you like your old demon. Your entire premise worn out like old sneakers. Blown out like old speakers. Thrown out like old leaders. Pay attention what the soul teaches. Now that the price of gold cheaper, but the gold deeper this season, folks.
Get your information together now. Start your PowerPoints for some of the topics that you want to debate right now. Because you're trying to jump right back in the ring. It's a marathon, family. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Let go.
Shuckle, everybody shuckle,
Yeah.
shuckle. Solar mind gon' make you shuckle, everybody shuckle, everybody. Solar mind gon' make you shuckle, everybody shuckle, solar mind gon' make you shuckle, everybody shuckle,
Let's debate. This where the best of the best collide and go edit on the internet. We coming for each other neck. You want me to show some respect to your scholarship? Let's debate. I hope you ready for war. You don't know the talking, but don't want no smoke. What did you come in here for? You know what we got going on. If you really with it, let's debate. Solar vision is the only vision in the universal telescope. Everyone else gotta go. Intelligent level, it ain't even close. Let's debate. I ain't scared of none of y'all. I ain't backing up for none of y'all. Going in on every one of y'all. I want the Draco. I'm about to let 100 off. Let's debate. Is lit in the ashtray. I'm outside with the savages. Affiliation of intelligence. Whole team gold medalists. Perfect combination of the elements. The champion remain anonymous. Post-apocalyptic catastrophic population. They become the scavengers. We got a Bible crew. That's a tribal group. But with the old and new. And if they only knew that the new was old and the old is new. But the young and old, but the old is new. Doesn't matter how much love you show them from your heart. They cannot never stand aside of you. Yeah. Don't you want to tell the truth for one singing like that would be very polite of you. Yeah, this awesome courage too powerful for them to listen. I am here to enlighten you. Military minded tanks on the ground, make sure that your argument fireproof. Political plug, government rebel, they blaming it on Tasmanian devil. Embedded inside the mind of the country's community elders. Feathers of Miyagi heavier every year. We just keep getting better every year. I just want to make that very clear. Make you disappear like you would never hear. And it's still good versus evil. And I OD when a G move. The U2 street dangerous. They'll take advantage and mislead you. Got your third eye open, me too. Parallel universe, see through. Spirit molecule, take a deep dive in that gene pool. I'm the vessel the Almighty speak to. Anyone that seek to. Not me on my feet, I defeat too. I need peace too. I gotta eat too when I see food. And I still kicking with my day ones. Black melanated got his A1, A9, Trey Young, State Farm. We in solar system making space for them. Stay calm when they calm. They arm and they palm. Explode on them, cut them up like a lawnmower, unload them like a gun on them. But not the one with the baton on them, not the one who only feeling important when they rockin' Louis Vuitton on them, not the one who turned it back and God and forgot what he done for him. Season 4, real form. Let go.
Rio. SVDL, we back on the block again. Popping in real life, you can have a fairy tale. Season 4, we right back on the top again.